And now, from the bowels of the internet, it's the Hate-Bit Podcast.
Podcast Season 2, Episode 7 is on the air. I am Yellkaos. Thank you for joining us. Joining me, as always, the labia lacerator, Alpha Omega Sin.
Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Hello, folks.
The Muffin Man, Sainted Magnus.
Hello, guys. Let's get this shit started.
And the man, the myth, the shit fist and raker himself, RazorFist.
Yes, RazorFist, high in 8 essential vitamins and nutrients, because apparently snark is a nutrient now.
Ooh.
And that's what we do. Welcome to our show. Got a great big show for you today. We're going to have a little discussion about, movies, and, because there's been a lot of talk about movies. We want to know what we think about movies. But we're going to talk about breasts. There's going to be lots of much breast discussion in this episode of the Hate-Bit Podcast. I really want to stress that. So for those of you fans of breasts, stick around. We got a lot more for you. And we're going to talk about... Oh, you don't say. So a lot of bit. What am I talking about? Lot to talk about. A lot of bits. A lot to talk about here on this installation, whatever have you. God damn it,
it's okay, folks. We have to restart him every so often, and
I know, it's terrible.
We've left him on for like several hours now, more so than we usually.
You ever seen Return to Oz? He's like TikTok. You have to rewind him up every couple hours.
Yeah, we just can't find the fucking key. We placed it somewhere. We just don't know where. It's probably in the folds of a couch or some shit. So we'll get to it eventually, or just leave him like this.
Yeah. Apparently, I was built by Ford in the 1900s. Anyway, got a great big show. So it's time for our discussion topic. You like the discussion topic where we talk about just one thing and kind of have an open forum about it. And RazorFist adamantly made it very clear that he had to talk about this, about WWE currently, or, enforcing what they had not enforced before, their copyrights for Attitude Era material on the internet and on YouTube. And he wants to talk about it. So RazorFist, why are you so angry, man?
I'm sure I'm not the only one who's noticed this. Anybody who's gone to look up absolutely anything that was ever watchable that WWE released, see also anything between the years of 1990 and 1999, you've likely already noticed it yourself. I mean, just right now, while you're listening to the podcast, go ahead and open up YouTube in a separate, window. Type in, the actual fucking... You type in any wrestler that you like. Do Undertaker versus Kane, whatever. Any of this stuff, you're going to get more gray boxes than anything, because it's all been taken down. WWE has taken it upon themselves for myriad reasons, most of which I'm sure Alpha will illuminate us with in a moment here, to essentially whitewash their history and try and pretend the Attitude Era never happened, even though it was the most financially successful period in the history of the company. So, good luck finding, if you're me, gold dust matches or whatever the fuck, because these people were all in the Attitude Era primarily. So,
That's a shame.
it is.
Oh, no, it is a shame, because the thing is, considering how much of that stuff is basically the pinnacle of WWE to a lot of people, or I'm sorry, WWF, for everybody that was actually around during that era and watching. The thing is, they're trying to do away with all this because of one stupid fucking inflamed cunt, and that's Linda McMahon. Linda McMahon, who decided, what was it, last year or so, that she was going to go and run for office, and poured millions upon millions of dollars from her own company into going into this office and failed miserably. She spent the second most amount of money to literally get no votes at all and be laughed at.
Oh yeah,
and
she went down
because
that broad went down in flames. But
it was a Hindenburg.
But yeah, continue. Sorry.
It just in general, it's a fucking joke that she even attempted it to begin with. You should just stick to what you do and just keep doing that. And the thing is, now she's going for a second attempt. And Why is all the Attitude Era stuff going to go away? Because that's tarnishing their image. Keep the stuff around from the 80s, all the stuff from the 90s. Oh, a little too risque, a little that was pushing boundaries a bit too far, and that's when they were getting negative publicity. But let's be realistic, that negative publicity made them something, put them on the fucking map, and was putting asses in seats faster than they could ever fucking imagine. They were selling out arenas on days where their entire fucking lineup of matches looked like absolute dog shit. And here you are watching it, basically they're going to act like all that shit didn't happen, and they're only going to keep around tidbits of things, and all the stuff that they do decide to re-release on DVD is going to be highly edited everywhere. I'm talking about crowd reactions, the stuff that they say, and just overall, it's going to fucking suck big donkey dick, as RazorFist has already fucking mentioned. So
it's a particularly brilliant move because I think it's misdirected as well. Because let's really think about this for a moment. What is worse? Okay, Linda McMahon having been associated with a company that at one time was borderline risque. Let's be real here. On television, it never really got any worse than like PG-13 level. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It was never too ridiculous. On pay-per-view, it occasionally lapsed over into R. But that was fairly occasionally. It wasn't even every pay-per-view. It's just some, right? Is that worse, or is it worse when in the early 90s, when the product was relatively kid-friendly and the steroid trials were going on, and Linda McMahon was caught red-handed sending out memos to all the wrestlers telling them to get clean? That is much more damaging, but instead of focusing on that, which her opponents could legitimately use against her, I mean, she is caught dead to rights, her handwriting on a piece of paper saying, "You're on steroids, get off them." Is that worse, or is it just being associated with a product that isn't quote-unquote family-friendly? I mean, most of the Attitude Era really is PG. It's true.
I mean, look at this. They've been trying to fucking like dabble in Hollywood for years. They've been trying to be taken seriously by every form of media out there, by newspapers, by magazines, by talk shows. Like they want to be taken seriously by the entire world, but at the end of the day, it's a bunch of overgrown, muscly men in the middle of a soap opera just wrestling around and jumping off of shit, and it really is like laughable to some fucking people. And no matter how squeaky clean you get that image, it's still going to be what it is at the end of the day. Whether or not you're going to have somebody going and saying fuck, ass, shit, piss, cunt, dick, whatever, okay, take all the foul language out. Okay, now you want to take all the chicks and cover them up just a tad bit more than they were before. It's not going to make much of a fucking difference because it's still what it is at the end of the day.
Yeah, and it's their present product flat out is not interesting enough to warrant people taking any kind of... I mean, look at the ratings right now. I think they dropped below a 3 on the last episode. They added an extra hour onto their show, and they are bleeding viewers. And they deserve it, because they shouldn't have added a third hour on. They could barely write 2 hours. They couldn't write 2 hours. If they had a 1 hour show, they would be struggling to find things to do.
Oh, dude, one of the worst things was they have product placement in the middle of the show now. They've actually had a person come up with a Subway sandwich and offer it to the fucking announcers. And I was just like, bravo, you've officially made me throw up in my mouth. Yay.
Oh, that wouldn't be the first time, if you remember Bob Sparkplug Holly, plugging the Stridex NASCAR in the middle of the beginning of the Attitude Era. So there's nothing new there. I think the McMahons maybe see the writing on the wall, and they see where their product, their bread and butter, where it's going. And I think maybe they're trying to get into a new family business, politics.
Yeah,
but here's the thing:
they're hitching their horse to a different wagon. You do have a point.
They did something pretty fucked up recently, though. There was this one dude. I can't remember his name for the life of me, but he was the manager of this one new tag team. I don't remember their name either.
Abraham Washington.
Thank you. Yes, that dude got fucking axed from the company, and this started a big fucking uproar backstage. And keep in mind, this isn't some shit that happens on camera. This is like real life, what's going on backstage politics. This dude got the axe on his own personal Twitter. Okay, his own personal Twitter. He went on there and he had applauded what Linda McMahon was doing in politics. Well, even though that is like the main thing that she's striving for, well, him saying that, you can't connect the two. You can't bring it up. You can't talk about it. You can't mention it. You can't give any single fucking iota of information that you were even remotely interested in politics, let alone the ones that she is already in. And he said something positive about it. They fired the motherfucker on the spot. From doing that, it was nothing but a domino effect of pissing off people. And a lot of people are thinking about just walking out on the company because of things like this. And that, again, is just, is all this risk really worth it? Is the payoff really going to be worth it if you get your little fucking little politics spot and everything? Yeah. Is it worth it?
I think the better question here is why? Because, this is not this. Usually, when politicians try and hide things, when they're moving on to, new offices and whatever, they've usually got, skeletons in the closet. Meanwhile, the McMahons have been doing dirty laundry out in public for 25 plus years.
Yeah.
So that's,
Absolutely.
this is absolutely nothing more than an uphill battle. This is, this has very little to do. It's too late for damage control. It is too late to try and rewrite history and pretend that all this stuff didn't happen. So I just feel that this is, they're kicking a dead horse.
Yep. It doesn't seem particularly advantageous. And now you're outright, you are inciting your audience. You are literally spitting in their faces. Because now it's like, okay, the only thing that I do care about, you're pretending it doesn't exist at all.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, do you really think?
To get rid of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure somewhere in the back of their minds they think, well, if they can't watch the old stuff, they'll go ahead and watch the new stuff. But I'm like, I don't think they understand how exquisitely fucked their product is right now.
Wait a minute, wasn't that GameStop's model?
I know, I believe that was their operative logic for some years there. And how's
yeah,
that
if we get rid of all this cool stuff, they'll buy this lame shit.
Exactly. Oh yeah, no. Actually, on that,
somebody get Brutus Beefcake on the phone.
Actually, on that front, my editor, who still works at GameStop, was telling me that like a week or two ago, the manager of his store was telling him to get anything under $5 out of the store. Anything under $5 out of the store. And that means PS2, early 360 games, early PS3 games, anything like that. It's kind of the same idea. Good times.
Remove as in destroy them?
Remove them from the store. He wants them gone. He wants them not even on display.
Uh-huh.
So yeah.
Yeah, I know that they've been liquidating PS2 games and everything, but they're fucking retarded. They honestly just need bigger stores so that they can carry everything and make everybody happy, from retro to modern gamers and to modern gamers that want to get into retro gaming.
See, and it's not even an issue of space. It's an issue of profit, and he flat out admitted that too. The manager, he was like, "Well, we don't make as much money off of a $5 game, so it's really just that simple." He's trying to wean the customer base off of the cheaper games because he doesn't want that kind of customer. Basically.
Then somebody should send that memo to the Big Three.
See, and that's kind of the same idea with WWE here. They want a better class of customer, and by that they mean little shit-heel kids whose parents will buy them absolutely anything they want, regardless of quality or content.
And how many times did they ever pan out into the audience, and it was like Hulk Hogan syndrome all over again with all the merchandising, where you see a kid with a fucking "You Can't See Me" shirt. He has fucking 15 wristbands on each arm and each leg. He's got the hat on. He's got a necklace. He's got John Cena diapers on. He's got John Cena shoelaces. He's got a fucking John Cena cup. He's got a John Cena doll with him. And it's like every 5 seats over, you see another kid like that. And again, every single fucking that's their poster child. And keep in mind, during live shows when they can't edit it out, unfortunately, and you hear the "Let's go Cena," it's all high pitched, and when you hear "Cena sucks," it's all bassy and burly, because no real wrestling fan wants to see this fucking jack off on there parading around acting like he's a wrestler with his repertoire of 6 fucking moves, including his pretend submission move. And yes, anybody out there that is a fucking John Cena fan, I fucking hate him. He can suck a dick and be boiled in pus for all I fucking care.
Wow.
Sorry about that. There we go. So,
No,
yeah.
no, that's all right. But you can't say that WWE has never taken a long look at their audience and changed their product to appeal to those people. I present you with Exhibit A, the Godwins. They actually tried to appeal to the pig farmer in the audience. Now, that either says they don't think very much of their audience, or
That's
they
exactly
think
what
really
that
highly of
says.
the pig farmer.
I think what they were trying to do is capture Lightning again, because you had Hillbilly Jim, who did go
Who
over
was
relatively well.
massively popular, yeah. I mean, I like Hillbilly Jim, but...
I do too, because he won't age. I
No,
don't understand.
Hillbilly
how.
Jim, yeah, he looks exactly the same, like
Yeah,
30
he-
years later.
I saw him when I was little. Like, I'm talking like when, like, my earliest memories of being a child, I had went to wrestling matches, and I remember seeing him there. And then I saw, I'm 28 now, and I see him. I'm like, how the fuck do you look the same? Like, getting
Yeah.
frozen in carbonite or something? Like, does this
Well,
happen every
you
so
know, like the way he like puffs out his chest and puts his hands on his hips and does that, skidoo thing. He's a living cartoon and he knows it. And at that age, that's just beautiful.
And the thing is, he's still just as built. It's fucking eerie,
Yeah.
man. Like,
Yeah,
he's not
he's
out of shape.
gotta
It's
be,
like,
like,
how
in
do
his
you do
60s.
that, man?
Yeah, he's got to be like in his late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, but back on point. If you can, go onto YouTube and download all the fucking wrestling YouTube videos of the Attitude Era while you can.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
if you want to piss them off, make tons of fucking sheep accounts and keep uploading them. And in
Yeah.
the info section, be like, take this down, fuckers. You know.
What's amazing is it is clear and it is absolutely 100% transparent exactly what they're trying to accomplish here. Their goal here is not to combat piracy or any of
Fuck
this.
no.
Okay, you have to understand that right off the bat. That it's not the goal here because number one, they make tons of money off DVD sales, and number two, while they're taking down entire Attitude Era match, just little matches, and we're talking everything. We're talking shotgun Saturday night matches and jacked and like lame stuff that was on B and C shows back in the late 90s. While they're taking those down, you can watch full WCW pay-per-views on YouTube, and they haven't bothered to take them down at all, even though they own the rights to them. So it's really a question of, is it Attitude Era? Okay, kill it.
Well, see, here's
is
the thing. The main
transparent.
reason, if the main reason why they're just going after the Attitude Era stuff is because of the brand recognition. WCW, they didn't own that stuff back then, even though they've acquired it through a buyout. The same thing with the ECW stuff. ECW went 10 times further than the Attitude Era stuff did. But the thing is, they've left all that as it is, and it's all fine. The only thing that they ever altered on any of it ever since like re-uploading the stuff and putting on DVDs and shit is they've altered the music because ECW didn't have licensed music. They just used whatever the fuck they wanted. But other than that, they've left everything in. They just want to go after all the WWF stuff because that's them, even though they're WWE now, but same exact thing. They just want to clean up their own fucking mess because that stuff showed up on, Monday Night Raw, Raw's War, the War Zone, and all that shit. And it showed up on SmackDown and da-da-da-da-da. So they're trying to clean up their own fucking shit-filled mess, which they shouldn't because we all like that shit-filled mess. And they aren't supplying us with that same shit-filled mess, so we need some kind of way to get a hold of it.
Yeah, so there you go. So, but that was a good discussion. I enjoyed that very much. In conclusion, before I want to tell all the people who have no idea what we're talking about, if you get a chance, check out some ECW. Check out.
Hold on.
Sainted, what do you got?
Sainted didn't get in on this discussion, so Sainted, just give us a quick fuck WWE, would you?
Well, I'll just say this: it's politics, and me and politics don't mix. It's in the UK in politics at the moment.
At least you're honest.
Right? So that's why I said that. But
I admire that, Sainted Magnus.
I do have one little theory though.
What's that?
WWE 13. They're putting the Attitude Era in that, so they're probably trying to make as much money off the Attitude Era as they can. But they're going to take down all the fucking videos from YouTube, so then you'd have to go out and buy the game just to view these matches. So
I think maybe they're trying to control the image that they've already set forth.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Because
Yes.
they're really pushing the Attitude Era on the new game. So just so
and that's I think to go in line with everything else that's going on in the gaming industry. Everyone trying to cash in on nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a whole other discussion for a different episode of the Hate-Bit podcast.
Yeah.
But but if you have the time, check out some ECW and watch a man called Tommy Dreamer. You'll actually see, if you watch long enough, see him accomplish the American dream, pile driving his wife through a table. There's nothing quite like it, and I recommend it highly.
Anyway. And watch a barbed wire match with Sabu and Terry Funk. It's probably one of the most brutal fucking things you'll ever see.
Just watch any match with Terry Funk.
Watch some ECW do the cage match between Steven Richards and Luna Vachon.
Awesome. Yeah, that one actually was. See, I always have the fucking barbed wire match in my head because they had close-ups on like his skin getting ripped open. You actually saw like exposed muscle on him, and he had to fucking tape up his arm in mid-match. And Terry Funk looked like a goddamn waterfall, man. Like it was to the point like people I was hanging out with were like, I can't watch this. They actually felt bad because his head was just gushing. I was like, I have a great stomach. I could eat and watch this stuff, but I was like, wow, that is all sorts of fucked. But here, go ahead. So the fucking cage match, continue. Yes.
I think everyone's just picturing you eating a sandwich.
No, I was throwing that out there. So yeah, continuing on.
Yeah.
Continuing on, we do have a podcast that we're supposed to be.
We do have a podcast, but also we want to remind our listeners, don't forget that if you get the chance, pile drive your wife through a table. It's lots of fun. I do it every Sunday. Anyway, but you know what? It's time for the Hate-Bit CuntBag. We got letters, and it's brought to us this week by Yellkaos Viking helmets for those mornings when you're feeling horny. We got mail come to us from all other angles. We got coming to at gmail.com. Drop us a line at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. But this first piece comes to us at our YouTube inbox. You can drop us a line at YouTube if you feel like it. However you feel, questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please let us know. We'll be happy to oblige you. This one comes from a common content provider, Lupasolo, and he says, "Whatever happened to pack-in games?" Oh, this sounds like fun. He says, "Greeting, Lords of Loathing."
Greetings.
Yeah. He says, "I have a question and a complaint." Well, we'll do as best we can. He says, "Whatever happened to pack-in games? Back in the day, consoles came with important games packed in with the system, such as Super Mario Bros., Sonic the Hedgehog, Virtua Fighter, etc. Nowadays, you consider yourself lucky if a game comes packaged with a game, and it's usually special editions and collector's editions of consoles that come with games. When did this simple common sense courtesy become engulfed by greed? Which are some of the most important pack-in games or system seller games for you fine gents?" When did the whole pack-in game just die?
It died off in the 32-bit
I would say this console generation. I remember. Now let's keep in mind. I think I do remember the 360, the Pro edition of the 360 for a long time came with two games. I forget what they were. One was Forza, and it came with two games. I just forget what the other one was, but I know one of them was
Forza 2 and Viva Pinata.
Yes, exactly. Okay, and I think there were a couple variations of that as well, but that didn't last long, and they haven't done that for a long time. So I don't know. I think they just veered away from that. It seemed like when the economy started to go south, that's when they started to veer away from it, around 2007, 2008.
Yeah.
So.
I don't know.
What's the last one you can remember? I do remember Metal Gear Solid 4 for the PS3.
Yeah, that had a packing. That was a packing.
Yeah, but the thing is, those are collector's editions. Like these are all limited. They're all collector's editions and things like that. I mean, we're talking about standardized consoles.
No. The 360 wasn't a collector's edition. It came with two games, and I think the PS3 that was just when they released the Slim. Or not the Slim, but the 80 gig version or whatever it was. But
I was going to say, no, that one is limited. That's the matte black finish PS3.
No, it was a gunmetal grey.
Was
PS3.
it? Okay.
Well,
that one is actually limited. The 360 though that you're mentioning, no, that one isn't limited. See, the thing is, I keep on thinking about like the Sega Genesis, / Mega Drive core system that came like with Sonic 1 or it came with Sonic 2, and then I think of naturally the Nintendo Entertainment System, which came with Super Mario Bros. / Duck Hunt, which is the most famous of all of them. And then Super Mario World came with the Super Nintendo, and then you could get Super Mario All-Stars for free just with a mail-in rebate. All that stuff comes to mind off the top of my head.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, they used to do it way more. I remember the entire reason I bought a Nintendo 64 was because they had the green N64 that came with the expansion pack and Donkey Kong 64.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
So that was I went with that, and there were a lot of good pack-ins. I remember there was a special Perfect Dark console that was purple and see-through, and the fucking there were a number of them. I can't think of them all off the top of my head, but they were all pretty fucking cool. And I think it's kind of gone by the wayside because of the economy, likely inflation or whatever. But they're trying to keep their overheads low, also.
Well, one I didn't think about, which honestly really sold the system, and we've actually mentioned, all of us have mentioned this at least at one point. I know many of our listeners have at least thought about this. Wii Sports. Wii Sports is arguably the main reason why many non-gamers were picking up the Nintendo Wii console. No software needed because it came with that pack-in game and was enough to fucking, you know.
And if you wanted a second controller, which everyone did, they were smart enough, and this was an incredibly shrewd move on Nintendo's part. They were smart enough to package the new controller with Wii Play.
Oh yeah.
So that was another bundle. They got you with two, you know, mini game collections basically and a controller.
And it took like no fucking effort to make this stuff. Like whatsoever.
None.
Those games are all like demos, really.
Yeah.
But it was a good.
Well, that was the entire idea, and it worked out, you know.
Oh yeah, it worked out incredibly, and I won't ever argue. Like when I first got my hands on the things, I had a lot of fun, but you know, over time that fun wears off pretty fucking fast. But,
sure, but I mean, you know, it's just like, you know, it's one of those things like a tutorial how to ride without training wheels. Once you get it, it's like, all right, well, there was that.
Yep.
You know, there's another pack-in I just thought of off the top of my head. The regular Xbox came with some Sega goodness. It came with Sega GT 2000 and was it 2000, 2002?
Yeah,
and in Jet
2002.
Set Radio Future. It came with those, and I thought that was an amazing little bundle right there because those are both really good games. So.
Yeah, but the PS3, the new one, that's coming with a pack-in. It's coming with Uncharted 3 Game of the Year edition, and that Dust 514. You know,
the thing is,
that's
I'm
true.
thinking, like, did the PS1 ever get Crash Bandicoot packed in with it?
I'm pretty sure it did.
Yeah.
See,
At
I
least
can't
at one
remember
point
off the
or
top
another.
of my head. I just remembered, like, you know, just the PlayStation. Then I remember the PS1, but I can't remember if there was any fucking pack-in deals with it. Because I already
There
had
had to have been one for Christmas at one point. If Crash Bandicoot was in as many goddamn commercials almost getting run over by dirt bikes, there had to be something.
Yeah.
He was the PlayStation guy for a time there.
You know what, though? I mean, even, like, since this is brought up, it does make me think, like, if a lot of consoles, like, here, we'll use this as an example. The Nintendo Wii U, which is coming out very, very soon. Let's say the new Super Mario Brothers 2, which is coming out for it, say that was a pack-in title by default, you know, that would fucking sell it like hotcakes. Like a lot faster for people because they'd be like, wow, I'm getting a Super Mario game, you know, with it for free, even though you're paying for it. It's not really free, but you know, that's the mindset a lot of us will have. Like, well, that's normally like a $60 game. Cool.
I have a feeling, we obviously haven't had this confirmed or anything, but I think we're all of the mind that it sounds like they're taking a loss on the console already. Like, it sounds like
I
the
agree.
controller was, I'm guessing it was the controller's probably really expensive to make. So I doubt we're going to see many bundles or anything like that with games or whatever, because it's just they're already taking such a hit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it kind of sucks, but I mean, I do really like when they have bundles, especially very, very good ones. And I don't want just like limited ones. I want ones that stay around for years and years, and it's something like it's synonymous with that console. Like, you know, when we think about going and getting a Sega Genesis, all of us automatically have images popping up of we were already popping in Sonic the Hedgehog. That's fucking awesome. And when we had a Nintendo system, we had Mario. You know, and I just wish that they would do stuff like that more often because that helps sell the hardware. You know, same thing with handhelds. Do that, you're fucking selling shit like hotcakes. And I don't know, just for whatever reason, they just don't. Whether it's greed or just blatant stupidity or what the fuck ever.
Yep.
So in
next-
other words, there is no easy answer.
Not particularly.
It makes you sad, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Kinda, yeah. It makes my wallet sad too.
Yeah, I know.
I miss the days when you could
It's
just
a
go
shame.
out and buy a console and you have a game there straight away. Instead, you have to plan to purchase 2 or 3 games just to actually enjoy the system when you buy it.
Well, I can
Yeah.
remember. I can remember years ago when my uncle bought the TurboGrafx 16 way back when, and it didn't come with a game, and I said that just looks wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
and
I remember when I got my Super Nintendo. I'm opening it and I'm expecting to get a game because it's got pictures of games on the package and like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have a game, whatever. Nothing. And luckily my parents had the foresight to pick me up X-Men Mutant Apocalypse, which is a pretty good Capcom game, but that otherwise I would have been up shit's creek, you know.
that would have been great if your parents had just like, but where's the game? You don't get a game. It's for your birthday. Fuck you.
I know.
I hope your parents don't talk to you like that, but you get what I mean.
I know people whose parents did that too.
Your father and I never wanted you anyway.
I know. It's
You
like
were an
it's like
accident. I was drunk.
I know. It's like packaging.
You're not
It's
supposed
like
to tell the
packing your kid's lunch with one of those pre-made sandwiches. Like, what better way to say "mommy doesn't love you"?
Mommy didn't have a minute and a half out of her day.
Or better yet, no, just one slice of bread that's kind of stale with some cheese that's still wrapped.
Wait, here's one. You know the prepackaged peanut butter and jelly sandwiches?
Oh.
That right there just shows you will never give a shit about that child, even once.
It goes to show mommy loves Costco more than she loves you.
Mommy
What?
loves this jar of pills more than you. Now go to and
That's
give her
very
some
sexy.
time alone with the pills.
More
That's
contact. More, I say.
More.
Anyway, phew, but yeah, this
We miss packing games, end of story.
we do
Yeah.
miss packing games, and there should be more. But until then, we're just gonna have to sit and wait. You know, it'll get better.
We
It has to.
we miss packing games and we miss good school lunches. That's
We
what you're
do.
learning from the Hate-Bit podcast right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you don't. You cannot skimp on the pudding cup. Okay, you can't.
Yeah.
I gotta have the pudding cup.
Or were you a fan of the fruit cup?
I hate the fruit cup.
I hate the fruit cup too, but the pudding cup, you know, I like snack pack. Anyway, you know, you'll never believe this, but we got more mail.
are the raw pizza Lunchables? Remember that?
Dude, those are still fucking awesome to eat.
They sure are.
Even though the fucking what do you call it? The crust is basically just a piece of cardboard.
It's just a cracker. It's a big cracker.
It's a cracker they forgot to bake.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's like a soft cracker, like a Ritz that was sitting in water for too long, and then they were like, all right, let it dry out a little bit. Okay, now give them some cheese and a pepperoni and maybe like a of sauce.
Yeah,
So-
so yeah, that's a pizza. That's not pizza. That's a cry for help.
I don't know what I'm doing, but I think it's pizza.
I think I'm supposed to chew it. We got more mail here coming to us at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com. Comes from, another common contributor, Will Gates. And Will Gates says, first off, thanks for answering my question in Season 1. Apparently he asked this question about Pantera. I don't recall, but he goes on to say, I enjoy hearing you guys talk about music since we all share some common interests. So here's another music question. If you could bring back any artist from the dead, who would it be? I'll go ahead and guess Alpha and Mr. Fister's choices. Alpha would choose Dimebag Darrell, and RazorFist would choose Quarthon. And
Oh, wait,
what-
I have one more I can add to that. In all seriousness, it would actually be a hard debate, but Chuck Schuldiner.
that's a
Johnny
good one.
James
too.
Dio.
And he says,
Oh shit!
what do you
yes.
think would have happened with their career if they never died? Congrats on Season 2, and thank you, RazorFist, for helping introduce me to Bathory. So, hey, there you go. RazorFist, you are doing good in the world, and I won't tell anybody because I don't want to ruin your rep or anything. But
What
you know,
about
you-
Freddie Mercury?
what about Freddie Mercury? You know who's
You
the big one
son
for
of
me?
a bitch. I was going to say
I-
that.
Oh,
There are plenty of
sorry,
other
I
famous
stole
people who
his
died.
thunder.
Stole my
Oh.
thunder, son of
Stole
No,
your
go
thunder.
ahead and use it. Mine's Quarthon. You're good to go.
Alright, Freddie Mercury, since you've already fucking took. Oh well,
Did you hear that tone in his voice just then? It's like, yeah, use it, fucker.
yeah. Stole my
Fuck you,
thunder.
English. For me, the one that I was thinking about this while I was reading through this, I can't help but think about Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan, while he was not a terribly young man when he went, I think just had so much more to give to the world and was taken away, just well, far too soon, in my opinion. And
Not a terrible guy, just terrible behind the wheel of a helicopter.
That's part. Well, he wasn't flying the helicopter. Are you going to blame Richie Valens too?
Yes.
Okay. Damn Richie Valens for being teenaged and handsome. That's why that goddamn fucking airplane crashed.
And Randy Rhoads was to blame for his.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you could hear it, the Big Bopper saying "Goodbye, baby." But I don't know.
Shouldn't it be "Mama, I'm coming home"? Sorry.
Hey, that was too soon. RazorFist, was it really Quorthon that you think this should not be dead?
Yeah, I'd say Quorthon. I hesitate to think. I can't really think of anybody else. Maybe.
Oh, come on, man. Euronymous from Mayhem. You know how amazing he was.
This is true. Euronymous, man, I would... that's the big tragedy of that situation. Instead of 5 more awesome Mayhem albums that were written by Euronymous with his fucking guitar riffs, we got 5 more pretentious pseudo-Viking metal Varg just hipster fests.
Well, that's what I can't believe.
What a nice little trade-off.
Yeah, well, Varg murdered Oystein Arseth Euronymous over what he claimed, what he claimed that Euronymous would have done, when in fact that's what... I think Varg was fearing that Euronymous would cut in on his hipster action.
Yeah.
He probably had a premonition. He's like, you know what? All this faggoty stuff I'm doing that I'm leading people to believe is good, he's going to do that too. I should kill him.
I just thought of somebody that I thought of somebody pretty late into it, but I don't think that this person could take precedence over Dimebag or Chuck Schuldiner in my book, but it still is very noteworthy and should be mentioned. And that is Peter Steele from Typo Negative fame.
Oh,
Peter Steele is like I grew up on Typo Negative. I heart them a lot, but Peter Steele is a bad motherfucker. All in all, unfortunately, cocaine. That's all I can really say.
A hell of a drug.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug, and but yeah, he's a pretty badass fucking dude, and I would like to see him come back because their last album was actually really, really fucking good. So
I would throw also, as a Motorhead fan, I would throw Wurzel out there because he died a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
And it would have been nice to see him reunite with Motorhead because he was a really good guitarist.
Yeah, we could spend a whole half hour talking about, people who should be dead too, but...
Yeah, but we have
actually,
something more important.
I think
Keith
that we would talk
fucking
more about
Richards.
who should be dead.
Huh?
Keith Richards!
Keith Richards is being kept alive by some sort of voodoo.
It's
And
Egyptian magic.
Is it Egyptian magic? Is that what it is? Because, he cannot be killed with conventional weapons.
Yes.
I mean, realistically, you would have to, do like in Doomsday, have to drop a building on this fucking guy just to, make him get sick.
To quote Barry Burton, it's a weapon. It's really powerful, especially against living things.
This is why now we know. This is why John Michael Thor tunes his weapons. This is why.
Oh God!
And if anybody out there is wondering, for the love of fucking God, go to RazorFist channel and you have to check out his review. Seriously, Rock and Roll Nightmare. It gets 50 thumbs up. Watch it. Look, I'm plugging his fucking channel and his video because seriously, if you guys haven't watched it, the movie is fucking hilarious. His review is just as fucking funny, and there's a monster penis in the movie. There you go.
Yeah, there is an ejaculating penis monster.
Dude, that thing's fucking horrifying.
And after you watch this movie, it will be impossible for you not to say, "See you again, old scratch," at least 5 times daily.
So yeah, we miss people who are dead, and we hope to kill people who are alive.
Yes.
Is that what we were trying to get across there?
I want to kill people no matter what, but yes, we'll go.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, That's all the letters in the Hate-Bit CuntBag, and we'll have more for you during halftime for the Hate-Bit BallBag. Got a new sponsor over there, and we'll let you know more about that as we get into the second half. But anyway, this first feature we're talking about, we're calling this Hate-Bit Film Week. You guys aren't going to believe this, but we love bad movies. I know RazorFist likes bad movies. I like bad movies. Bad movies are bad movies because good movies, do they make good movies anymore?
No.
Uh,
Good movies. The problem is they insist upon themselves.
They do.
It
They
insists
insist
upon
they're a good
itself.
movie.
But, Alpha Omegason was going on and on and on about bad movies, and I'm going to let him get the ball rolling. Alpha Omegason, what bad movies really just grab you?
Well, there was one that grabbed me recently, and then I filed charges against it and got a restraining order. And that just so happens to be the new rebooted Hellraiser movie. I can't really say new because it's been out for a little bit, but it's new to me because I just saw it. So fuck you if you've seen it already. But I watched it, and the entire time I just thought, shoving a traffic cone filled with fucking battery acid into my asshole sounds a lot more appealing than sitting through the remainder of this movie. Unfortunately, I didn't have either handy, so I just watched a movie instead, and here I am. It is a fucking train wreck. Not to say that the last couple Hellraiser movies were really anything to be like, bravo, encore, encore. No, you just want to burn down your house because that's where you had seen them at. But the new rebooted one, because we were talking about movies so bad that they're good, which Rock and Roll Nightmare, that's one of those so bad it's good. Hellraiser is one of those so bad you hate yourself movies.
So bad it gives you cancer.
Yeah, it's like I have eye and ear cancer. And it sucks really bad, and it's all rotting. I'm eventually going to be dead, probably by the end of this podcast. So who knows? It might be my last.
This movie is so bad, it's encouraging you to invest in a road cone and a car battery.
Yes.
That's something, boy. That's something right there.
At least everybody will know what my next Hate-Bit podcast video will be when I upload it. It's like, see, this is what it told me to do. And then crazy laughter, and then sphincter annihilation and everything in the middle of a highway. So,
We'll have an
so
on standby.
Which highway so we can schedule this thing?
Any highway that has at least 4 or more lanes.
I-95 through Pittsburgh.
And all I have to ask is, how is Sphincter Annihilation not the name of a gore metal band yet?
I was going to say, I kept on thinking that it was going to be like a porno grind metal band, maybe. Okay. I mean, we do have Anal Cunt and Anal Blast. Anal Blast, which has pretty good songs like Nipples, Knees, Ass, Cheeks, I Only Hit You Because You're Pretty, She Eats Her Tampon Out of My Shit.
Actually, only hit you because you're pretty when you cry.
And my particular favorite in the song that made me like the band, which is called Tampon Teabag. It's a very good song. But there's a lot.
One of my favorites, and I forget what the band was that did it. I was on some metal compilation that I got, and I'm not really a death metal fan at all. I actually kind of hate death metal. But there was a random death metal band that had a song that they wrote specifically for this compilation. It was a Seasons of Mist record company compilation. And it was, and I think it's now my new favorite name for semen, Sticky White Love Piss.
Well,
it's all sticky.
It's not maybe sticky, but it's all bleachy.
That's just me trying to class up the joint. Don't worry.
Absolutely. Because here's the thing: no matter what,
semen jokes always class up a place.
Well, look, Yellkaos was like, "Let's have Alpha get the ball rolling." Obviously, we already know that class is going completely out the window on fire, and it's just going to burn up the entire neighborhood. So, but okay. So since I talked about a bad movie, somebody talk about a good bad movie. Anyone, please?
A good bad movie, meaning so bad it's good, or so.
Yes. So bad that it's good.
So bad that it's good. There's so many movies like that.
The Gate.
I was gonna go.
Demons. Have any of you guys ever seen Demons?
Demons.
No.
It's a Dario Argento zombie movie, right? And Accept is on the soundtrack. That's all I needed to hear. And It's from like '83, right? So they're supporting the Restless and Wild album. There's a point in the fucking movie where the movie theater, basically the idea is that the movie theater is overrun like one person at a time by zombies. Everybody just sort of turns into a zombie slowly. And then some dude crashes through the ceiling on a motorcycle, wielding a katana, while except fast as a shark blares, and he chops the heads off all the zombies and tries to kill them all and clear out the theater. It is the most badass, cheesy 80s movie moment of all time. No question.
I think the 80s had a lot of cheesy moments, though, didn't it, if you remember?
Oh, tons, but come on. Can you beat... He crashed through the ceiling on a motorcycle with a katana. Motorcycle. Ceiling.
Motorcycle. Katana. Ceiling. Theater. What about this is not registering as awesome?
I don't know. That just makes me keep thinking of Machete, which also has over-the-top shit. That's just like... I mean,
Yeah,
he jumped out of a
that's
fucking window with
fucking
intestines.
Yeah, but that's Robert Rodriguez trying to be cheesy. That's different. That's him making... See, it's different when you're making a conscious attempt to be cheesy. That it only
you want the ones that inadvertently are cheesy.
Exactly.
You can tell Robert Rodriguez really pats himself on the back like Bob Backlund all the time. Like, yeah, you did good right there just then.
He does.
If Bob Backlund is listening, he's gonna slap the chicken wing on you and start screaming bloody fucking murder.
Pretty sure I think he's dead.
Oh.
No, he showed up somewhat recent on there.
Oh yeah, he showed back up like a month or so ago.
Now I have to kill him to make that go in line with what's going on the canon on the podcast.
It took him. I gotta say, it took him a while to live down the fact that he was the Sultan's manager for a while, and that was not easy to live down.
Oh, here's one somewhat cheesy. Well, I can't say somewhat, but one of the cheesy movies that I can think of happens to be Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. I liked that a lot when I was younger.
Yes.
Like that's just so good.
What about Weird Science, the movie?
Well, that's a John Hughes movie, man. That's just how John Hughes goes.
Oh, no.
One of my favorite movies, kind of a cheesy 80s horror movie, is Trick or Treat.
With Gene Simmons and Ozzy?
Yeah, and fucking... what's the band? Fucking... Is it Fastway in it?
Yeah.
Fastway plays like a song in it, and they're all freaking cool, with the guy who eventually became the lead singer of Flogging Molly, looking like, which is ridiculous to think about now. He was the freaking lead singer of Fastway, but yeah, that's a pretty good cheesy movie. I like it.
Oh, that's a good one. No, I saw that in high school, and I remember when I was a kid, I said I don't understand the concept of bad movies because I knew movies were expensive to make. I was like, how could they make a bad one? Little did I know that, yeah, every movie that I like sucks. And I have to come out, I'll be perfectly honest, I am a huge fan of the Police Academy series. So I know, I know movies of that distinction. Don't think I don't. I made it all the way to Police Academy 6.
Whoa there.
Yeah.
You have to calm down right now. We don't have insurance for you.
You remember,
I know, right?
You remember in the 90s when they used to play those on TV on Saturdays?
Yeah.
All the time, it was like Saturday and Sunday were like Police Academy Day. They would just play them on TV.
It's like
I'm convinced that's what allowed for the Police Academy series.
It's like James Bond at Christmas, because we get James Bond every Christmas. I think what was
you
it?
get James Bond every Christmas. Over here, we get 24 Hours of a Christmas Story. That's
yeah, we get that. And then they're making the sequel to it because that's a good idea.
You know what? I would like to announce the Hate-Bit boycott of this movie.
Yeah.
And,
The Hate-Bit boycott.
I'm not
That's
going
cool.
to suggest that you guys light bags of dog shit on the stoops of the theaters, but if you do, then I applaud you.
Oh, another one to add to the pile. No pun intended, but the dog shit little remark there. But was it Killer Clowns from Outer Space? That's another one.
Killer Clowns was supposed to be cornball, that's sort of once again the tongue-in-cheek thing.
But I like it a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they put people inside of cotton candy and drink their blood.
And then drink their blood. It was great. And then they made the one cop asshole who was Remember the old, the old cop that wouldn't listen to them inside the police station? Fuck you! He would say. The one clown turns him into a ventriloquist puppet.
Yeah.
No, wait. I have to throw this out there. The Puppet Master series.
Oh, that's a great one.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Puppet Master. Especially Puppet. My favorite is Puppet Master 5. Puppet Master 3.
But I can beat that. A friend of mine, we got really high one time and watched a knockoff of the Puppet Master called Dolls. Did you ever see that one?
Oh,
Dude,
no.
Dolls actually isn't horrible.
Well,
I
but it's
actually
not
liked
very
it.
good either.
It's not great, but it was, dude. I was little and I was a horror fanatic. I was like, this is pretty good. I also like demonic toys, but
Oh yeah, no, we got all loaded and we watched this and it was great. And then we said, you know what we got to do soon? We got to get all fucked up and watch the Shawshank Redemption. Like watch a good movie and see what happens. We've yet to try that out. We're afraid, actually.
Well, I was gonna say, speaking of little characters running around fucking mauling people, what about the Leprechaun movies?
Oh, I thought you were gonna go with Ghoulies.
No,
Yeah,
dude,
Ghoulies
honestly,
too,
I
with,
know that.
with Blackie Lawless.
Mm-hmm.
See, I know that I've seen Ghoulies. Like we had it on VHS because we bought it from one of the many movies rental places that went out of business. But Ghoulies, the only thing I can remember is what they look like. Aren't they little and green and have sharp teeth and shit?
No, they're little and brown. They come in different colors. They attack you when you're on the shitter, and I didn't care for that very much.
Dude,
like,
yeah,
no!
on the fucking cover of the movie, there's one coming out of a toilet, and he looks real happy too. Like I'm standing on your Lincoln log.
I think it's the one that bites you in the back of the ball sack.
Oh.
Yeah. But all those kinds of movies. I think I got exposed to a lot of this because the dollar section at the rental place.
Dude, but that's where some of the gems are just hiding.
Some of the greatest gems of all time. I mean, it's where you saw shit like the best of Brother Love from the Coliseum home video. Shit like that.
Dude, I shit you not. Okay, I opened a separate tab. And Ghoulies actually came up under on Netflix. And the one I'm looking at, the cover for this is actually different. It's two Ghoulies there, and neither of them look like the one from the VHS tape I have. But the one is like big and buff and looks kind of like an ape, and the other one is just green and has real long dangly fingers and looks really unhappy. And he has a Ninja Turtle chest. So yeah.
Well, Ghoulies were more or less a Gremlins knockoff, except for the chewing your asshole part. That's that was entirely original.
That didn't happen too often.
No. Very rarely does that happen in a Spielberg film. I'm not saying it doesn't. It's just uncommon. Saint Magnus, what bad movies do you like?
What bad movies do I like? There was one, I can't remember the name of it. Shogun Assassin, that was it. It's actually
That sounds bad.
It's really bad. It's badly made. It's one of those films that got banned because it was too violent. And I tell you what, it is one of the best fucking ninja/samurai movies I've ever watched. It's fantastic. If you can find it, buy it. It is really fun.
Is it one of those films where someone gets their face cut off with a katana?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that sounds like something.
That's
What's
what
it called
I like
now?
to hear.
Samurai Assassins?
No, Shogun Assassin.
Shogun Assassins.
Yeah.
Check out Shogun Assassins.
Oh, that's a good film. It's really bad, but it's fucking awesome.
Whenever I think of so bad it's good movies, like horror movies always come to mind, but there is a lot of like kung fu style movies that are like very high up on the list of it's so bad this is fucking awesome. Whether it's like there's
a bunch of Bruce Lee movies just like that.
Oh, you can put Bruce Lee in anything, and I'm automatically giving it like 5 out of 5 stars. Because I'm like, fuck yeah, Bruce Lee.
Yeah, because they all give you exactly what you want. Woo!
What about Brandon Lee? Showdown in Little Tokyo, right?
Oh yeah, with the big dicks and Dolph Lundgren. Yeah.
Yes. You have the right to be dead.
Yay.
I'm surprised we haven't thrown out anything including Steven Seagal or Chuck Norris.
Oh man, that's a given. Invasion USA, Hard to Kill, Out for Justice. God, I'd have to throw out
Deadly Ground.
Stallone and Cobra, of course.
Oh, go ahead. I don't shop here.
Go ahead.
No, yeah, there's a bunch of them, man. Oh God, now we're gonna talk about all the bad action films. Well, action films were never designed to be like literature inspired or anything like that.
Red
Uh,
Heat.
But they were
Huh?
fun as fuck
Red
to
And
watch.
even
Heat.
Jason Statham is horrible, but for some reason makes a lot of money.
I don't know. I really liked him in the Expendable movies.
I don't really give a shit about those movies, but I did see the movie Cranked or whatever it was. You
Crank.
remember that one?
Crank.
Oh, that is just so over the top. It's
It was an over the top. It was.
beautiful.
I think Jason Statham is talentless. I mean, he can roll over hoods of cars. Good for him. But
Yeah. He may be a bad actor, but at least he's a total throbbing dickhead. At least he's a complete ass. Have you ever seen this guy interact with normal people? Like, there's footage of him talking with people, and paparazzi are watching him, and he's just telling fans to fuck themselves. He doesn't want to sign any autographs. He's a total prick. This
Yeah,
guy.
he doesn't interact with anything, to be fair.
Total asshole.
I think there was a hit pun in there somewhere.
Yeah.
You're surprised that Jason Statham can't interact with things? What planet are you from? Anyway, we'll have more talks like this in coming weeks here on the Hate-Bit podcast because, as you know, this is the first podcast in the month of October, and we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff all throughout the month, so don't you worry about that. Our next item, we got to talk about something. Saint Magnus asked me to put this in here, and he's very interested in discussing this. The Mass Effect Trilogy box set. What about it, Saint Magnus?
Yeah, well, this past week, BioWare and EA have announced that they're releasing all 3 Mass Effect games in a nice little foil box with an art book and all the DLC and stuff like that for the PlayStation 3, PC, and Xbox 360 for $60, and it's coming out in November. Why? That's what I want to know is why. It seems like a good idea. It seems like a good idea. The PlayStation 3 is finally getting Mass Effect 1 on the system. But why, when people have already spent $60 on Mass Effect 3 this year, as well as the DLC, and then just say, "Oh yeah, we're making a set, and here's all the DLC, here's everything all in a box for you. There you go, enjoy." I'm confused why they've done this early into the franchise. I know they've ended Shepard's story, but couldn't they have waited till like next year or something? I'm confused. I want other people's opinions on this. What do you guys
Because
think?
they want to cash in on the holiday season while the product is still relatively, hot.
Well, they're not gonna, but they're gonna miss out on the PS3 guys, which is one of the main reasons to buy this. Is if you're a PS3 fan and you never got to play Mass Effect 1. This is the big reason why you'd want to buy it, but they're going to miss out on that this holiday season, right? They're saying it's going to be released for PS3 at a later date. So I don't really see the logic. I really don't.
No, it's confusing.
Yeah, are you getting all the DLC on it?
According to the website, the people, they got like people asking questions, and it says, what DLC is included in the Mass Effect 3 trilogy? On PC, Mass Effect will include Bring Down the Sky, Pinnacle Station on disc.
Okay.
For Mass Effect 2, you get the Cerberus network.
Okay, so yeah, all
other features
all
like
the
that.
shit, It sounds like it's all included. Yeah. So I guess that makes sense. It's nice to finally have a Game of the Year edition with extra DLC because I don't think they've. I still think they haven't released that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken, but
I think there's still DLC being released for Mass Effect 3, but I can't confirm it. I can't confirm nor deny. There is other people that might know.
well, who's
more than
still
I-
playing that piece? I think most people who played that were pretty much done with it.
Well, it's
Within-
one of those games. Once you finish it, that's it. You don't really need to.
Yeah,
You don't really need
was-
to play it.
Yeah, which is a tragedy because the first 2 games are the antithesis of that. I'm on my 20th playthrough of Mass Effect 1 and my 7th of Mass Effect 2. So it's like you can just play these games over and over again. They never play the same twice. That's the whole appeal. But Mass Effect 3 is so goddamn linear, But anyways, so
Yeah.
continuing on.
What's your opinion on Alpha?
I just really think that they're just trying to cash in while it's hot. I mean, that's literally my entire viewpoint on it. Like, what is the exact release date? Do they have one?
6th of November in the US. Not sure if we're going to have it in the UK yet, but it's looking like that following
I mean,
Friday.
I do think that it's. I think it's a bit too soon, but at the same point, looking at it like this is Electronic Arts we're talking about. They could really give a shit less if they're jumping into this early, because they're like, well, November, that's the holiday shopping season, and you know damn well any parent that's out there, like, my kid likes Mass Effect. Wow, this comes with all of them. I'll buy this one. You know, that's like an instant seller right there and a bunch of easy money. And the only real good thing about it, it is nice that PS3 owners will finally get the entire trilogy. It just sucks if you already own 2 and 3, because, like, are they even making a separate Mass Effect 1 for anybody who already has the second and third one, or are they just fucking stuck wanting to have to get the entire lot?
I think you have to get the entire lot, but I'm wondering if they're going to put... actually, there was a question here somebody asked, will the original Mass Effect be available as a standalone on the PlayStation 3? And this is yes, Mass Effect will be available as a standalone digital title on the PlayStation Network for $15. So
that's not that bad, but still, there's lots of people out there who are like, yeah, I would like the actual game though, you know, pressed and in my hand.
Yeah.
That'd be super.
I agree. I've got Mass Effect 1 and 2 on the Xbox, and I've not played Mass Effect 3 yet. And so this set actually does appeal to me in a way, because then I can have like a nice Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 set and be done with them, and I've got all the DLC there. I don't need to fanny about downloading stuff. But
it makes me wonder if they're going to be putting is this exclusive to the PS3? Because that's what I heard.
No, it goes on the PS3, Xbox, and PC.
Yeah,
they need to go and toss this shit onto the Nintendo Wii U then, because the Wii didn't see any Mass Effect games at all, obviously, and it would be a really good launch title. They ought to just skip out the entire Mass Effect 3 thing and just put the entire Mass Effect collection on there. It'd make a ton more sense.
Yep. So Nintendo, are you listening?
I don't know. Is Yellkaos listening? No, I'm just.
Well, I don't really think that he's.
Hey, wait. Fuck you, man.
Come on, let's be real here. If Nintendo were a porn set, you would happily be Shigeru Miyamoto's fluffer. Let's be real.
No. I mean, if I was gonna fluff something, I'd fluff something worth fluffing.
Yeah.
Hello?
Maybe
That
those pillows.
was a xenophobic Japanese joke. Anyway.
Oh.
We're gonna
Way to bring the podcast to a screeching halt, RazorFist.
Oh,
all about that fluffer talk, damn it. Oh gosh.
Damn fluffer talk, how dare we? And I don't know. I really think that all the news articles we're coming across lately just seem to, reflect that video game publishers think that everybody's mom is fucking stupid. That'd be a hell of a thing. It's like EA, Electronic Arts. We think your mother's stupid.
EA. It's in the game somewhere.
Somewhere in there. Anyway, yeah. So good talk there.
It's a confusing game. It's the fact it's a confusing pack, and it's either you're gonna buy it or you're not gonna buy it. It's what it comes down to. But it's unusual that they're releasing this sort of thing so early.
I think really, if we really want to pin the tail on just one donkey, let's be real. BioWare needs money right now. They are dying. I mean, EA is in dire financial straits right now. They need just a quick cash grab, and a Mass Effect collection fits the bill. I think that's really the beginning, middle, and end of that story.
And it's good timing for it overall, considering they need the money now, and the holiday season is happening right now.
Well, it would be good timing, but I have a feeling that these are outdated techniques. They're using stuff that may have worked in years past, but I don't know. I mean, I think that consumers are finally paying attention to, the negative press. They say there is no such thing as negative press, but I don't know. Will it work, Sainted Magnus? What do you think?
It's a double-edged sword. It could
Sure.
work or it could kick him in the nuts. So, if
Well, we're just gonna.
I'll probably wait for the set to drop to, I don't know, about £30 UK or $50 or something like that. You know, I don't think it's a $60 set at the moment.
Does that mean you will buy it?
Possibly. Well, I want to actually play Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 on one console, so...
You really need to play Mass. Have you ever played Mass Effect 1?
I have played Mass Effect 1, and I had
Oh, okay.
I had a
'Cause
hell of
I
a
was
lot
going
of
to
fun
say,
with
if
that
you
game.
hadn't had a chance to, I mean, that's definitely, in my opinion, the best in the series. So
It's a good game. I really did enjoy my time on the Mass Effect, you know, in the universe, and playing Mass Effect 2. Yeah, it felt like I was playing a Call of Duty game, you know, towards the end. But still, it was, the story wasn't too bad. I've not played 3, and I'm not sure if I'll end up playing it yet. But
Well, I will say this. For your sake, I hope the Mass Effect Trilogy box set is a massive failure, and I hope you get it for a very decent price.
well,
Merry Christmas, Sainted Magnus.
it's a bit early, but yes, thank you very much.
But you see what I mean? I'm just hoping for their failure because it will ultimately benefit your pocket. That's the kind of compatriot that I am. I wish many people lose their jobs so you can get a game for 10 quid.
Don't say
Capitalism, isn't it great? Anyway, it's great. This just in. We got big news right here. Fans are demanding, not requesting, but demanding larger breasts in the Dead or Alive series.
We spoke about this last week.
I know, but now it's a demand, a full-fledged demand. Is this...
this is Team Ninja is trying to like defend the mammaries, basically, because they've been coming under fire and some criticism because of how they've chosen to advertise the new game. So people are now saying, you know, maybe you're going overboard or whatever. And so they're just saying that, well, you see, the fans, every time we wish we could make them have small breasts, but every time we do it, the cattle, they drag us back into the quagmire because they demand large breasts. That's basically what they're saying. They are passing the buck on over to the fans. So, I mean, look, I love a pair of undulating mammaries as much as the next guy. I wouldn't say I'm on the short list for the mayor of Titty City or anything, but I at least have a timeshare there, you know? But what I find...
nights!
I know. What I find, like, chiefly offensive here is it's not really the objectification of women, frankly. I think it's the objectification of men, if you really think about it. If you really sit down and like analyze this in cold conscription, these vacillating shitbags genuinely believe that every minute, every single decision, every microscopic daily decision of our daily existence is informed by our fucking crank. That's basically what they're saying here.
Yeah, they can sell us anything with a pair of tits on a stick.
Absolutely, it's memo to Team Ninja. It's a dick, not a dowsing rod. Okay. So,
I don't know what you're talking about, but on a good evening, mine is a dowsing rod.
no,
You
but what I'm
talked about that. For those of you who don't know, Alpha Omega Sin has an unusually high sperm count. He told us before the podcast.
And that's actually from drinking Surge, by the way. So for everybody out there who drinks Surge, you can knock up anybody from any part of the fucking spectrum. It'll be fantastic. You know,
No,
tons
I
of
want
kids
you
you're
to say
unaware
it
of.
the way you said it earlier.
Let's see. I think what I said exactly was I could shoot a load onto a bedsheet and somebody in a different state could be having my baby.
And that's kind of the
Pretty sure
same
that's
idea. I think they genuinely believe, speaking of neighboring cities, I think they believe we're wired in such a way that if there's a pair of sopping wet titties in a neighboring county, we suddenly and inexplicably find ourselves face down in the dirt with our cock wedged in a gopher hole like we're trolling for fucking groundwater. Like, they're just tits. They aren't an instant sale. I mean, ask Namco how the print advertisements with Ivy's mole-bespeckled cleavage worked out for the Soul Calibur series.
You know what's funny?
I was telling
Soul
my friend the
Calibur,
other
she's
day-
the first character. She's the very first character that they show off ever since Part 2. She is
Yeah,
the
yeah,
very
yeah.
first character that they bring up, and when they don't have her popping up, they have Taki, who essentially is completely naked. They just painted her.
Oh,
That's it.
absolutely. The girl's camel toe is just a badge. That's all that is.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's fucking funny that they're trying to say like that's what a ninja wears. Like I've seen ninjas, ninjas are pretty cool. Like if a ninja saw that, a ninja would stop in mid assassination and would just start plowing the living shit out of that.
Oh.
Okay, that's not what happens. You don't run around in that kind of garb. It does not work because you're nude. Get over it.
I was telling my friend the other day, like, Soul Calibur 4, Menudo has more members than Soul Calibur 5 has sales. You know what I mean? Like, apparently that whole plan just blew right up in their faces. I mean, I don't think I speak for everyone. After all, like, look at how well Catherine sold, but I sure as shit speak for myself when I say I am sick and fucking tired of being treated like a pair of testicles with a wallet by Team Ninja's marketing division. I'm sure I'm not completely alone. I'm just mostly alone in that.
Yeah,
Are
you're
I
you
don't know,
saying?
man.
Do you think RazorFist? I don't want to pick on you too much, but would you say that you're spearheading the front that is masculinity in gaming as opposed to feminism in gaming? Are you trying to assert your masculinist beliefs on this community?
Well, I think discussing penises and testicles and then using the term spearheading is probably a poor choice of verbiage.
I don't know. I think that was a very appropriate choice of words. It really puts it into
Yeah, I was gonna
perspective
say, that
what we're
seemed
dealing with
purposeful.
here.
It was a clever use of words. We'll say
Yeah,
that.
so you know what? It was actually unintentional. I want to be perfectly honest about that. But I want to support your cause. Masculinism in gaming. I'm with you. I'm sick of being treated as though I don't know any better and I don't know what a good game is, and apparently a pair of tits is going to save this lack of any subtext.
Hey,
I'm sorry, maybe I'm asking for too much. I'm stretching a little much, but a concept wouldn't hurt.
well, hey, if it works for Hannah Minx, it might work for gaming.
Oh.
I was
Mina
waiting
time.
for a Hannah Mink's comment to be dropped at some point.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
it
it's
happened.
vicious.
It happened the last podcast. Why not this one?
Oh, might as well.
But yeah, larger breasts in the DOA series. Yeah, that's gonna save that series, all right.
You know what they should do? They should just introduce a slider option into the next update.
Oh, nice.
And then if people want smaller breasts, they put the slider down. If they want bigger breasts, they put the slider up. And then there's a secret code to give you your actual.
You know what? That should
Bigger-
correspond
I'll-
on the 3DS as well. That should, the 3D slider. That just you could breast up, breast down, breast
Well, I was
up,
gonna
breast
say,
down.
I mean, if we're
Well,
going
there
with
is
this route,
actually. Can I just put this out while he's on about the 3D slider and with DOA? DOA Dimensions. They've actually got a model viewer, and you can have 3D breasts on that.
Oh, yeah.
That's all I can say.
Now that's a gratifying experience, my friend.
well, if they want to go with bigger tits and that's going to sell, can't they just put like right on the package, but like, buy it now and you get, instead of like a big head mode, it's just big tits mode.
Big
So I
tits.
mean, they're just blown up to like proportions that make no sense, and the characters can't even like get to each other.
That'd be
I
like
think it could
Jerry
work.
Springer caliber right there.
Yeah. They have to walk backwards to get to one another to engage in combat.
Yeah, they kick backward. How dare you?
And then it becomes like a Super Monkey Ball game once one of them falls over.
Yes.
Oh man, this is
Honestly, right now, I can say this. Somebody at home has to at least be thinking, wow, playing Marble Madness or Super Monkey Ball is a gigantic pair of tits and a screaming girl just being thundered off the ground over and over again and propelled into the air. That is a fucking easy thing to sell because it'd be fucking funny.
Already is
I
fucking
think it
funny.
Dude, I would love the idea.
God, good talk right there. But it's time for halftime.
Already.
That point already. I know it's going by fast, but that time, because this is our first podcast in the month of October, and it's when time flies when you're having a good time. So this is that time where we talk about whatever and kind of get ready to move into the ball bag. Hate-Bit ball bag coming up, and I'd like to announce that we have a new sponsor for the Hate-Bit ball bag. This week's sponsor, the Hate-Bit Home Abortion Kit. It brings out the kittens. And we
We're
thank
going
them.
to hell again.
Well,
Did you say it brings out the kid in you?
it does.
Yes.
Oh, outstanding.
Wait, hold on.
So nice, he said it twice.
There we go. Yeah, clapping.
Oh, you cut out when you said it originally, so I had to.
Oh, well, yeah, well, because there was some chick from Arizona talking.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, I know. No, yes, the Hate-Bit podcast home abortion kit, because it brings out the kid in you. I mean, I think we plug only the best products here on this podcast, don't you?
Right,
And I would
so.
also like to bring up
power
that
juicer.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, that's, if we can get Jack LaLanne on this show, then it would just be, the cat's pajamas. But we got helmets that make you horny, and the guy. I love looking at this kit here for the home abortion kit. I mean, it's just it's a Ziploc baggie and a coat hanger, but I mean,
well,
they really know
don't-
marketing over there. They're
Don't
good people.
forget the limited edition. If you call now, you get a little keychain, and when you press the button on it, it suddenly just starts shouting out "kill streak, kill streak" every time that you go and you decide to abort one of those little kids. And just remember, everybody, abortion really isn't that bad. That just means they get to go see Jesus faster. That's all. So look at it that way.
And that's good. And that's good. Now they say that unbaptized babies go to purgatory. Does that mean that the aborted go to just straight to heaven? Is that what happens?
And see, that's what I'd like to think, because they didn't have any choice in the matter. So technically, they were murdered. They were innocent. So off to heven that they go. So with their little halo and everything like that, treated like a hula hoop because they're so small.
That's good. That's good.
And like I said, everybody, all class.
All
Well,
class.
all class.
Great, we're great people here. I'd also like to let everyone know that the reason why we've had this kind of advertising here on our show is because we were denied application from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They didn't want to work with us, so we have to go this route. Anyway,
Mitt Romney's not a fan.
Yeah, that's
he's
yeah,
not.
we called him too. We called him, and he was just like, scoffing and everything. And
No. I talked to myself. I called him. I said, Governor Romney, we'd really like to have you on. He says, I can't talk right now. I'm affixing the dog to the top of the car. So he's a busy man. But
and whatnot.
He's an idiot, isn't he?
Yeah.
According to what he's...
There was no other answer for that. You're like, oh shit, yes.
I mean, it's see here in America, it's we've got so many different levels and grades of stupid that it's really hard to say just yeah. I mean, he's a real rich fucking moron. So I mean, he's got that going for him.
So he is a moron. All right.
Yeah. I mean, I can't prove that, but he doesn't know why airplane windows don't open, so that might be a dead giveaway. Serious shit. Watch CNN. Don't believe me.
Oh God! You've got this idiot trying to go for the presidency at the moment. That is unbelievable.
Well, I just remember reading something
Well,
that
look at who he's running against.
Oh God!
Well, there's that. There's that.
He's got Mr. Empty Promises and an idiot.
Well, we got Mr. Empty Promises versus
Well,
Mr. Empty Promises.
It's not empty. I mean, his suit isn't completely empty. There's a teleprompter in there, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
Behind the blast shield.
Just like at the Democratic National Convention, right?
Oh dear, we need to veer so far off politics right now. It's not even funny.
See, it's getting heavy in here. It's getting.
Yeah, you gotta watch out.
There's some kids listening to this right now who've got like American government class tomorrow writing this shit down.
Yeah.
Don't write this down. This is we are not political analysts. Well, actually, we are, but we're not accredited in any way. So anyway, on to the ball bag. We got a piece of mail here coming to us at hatebitpodcast@gmail.com, and it comes to us from Dr. Mario MB at gmail.com. That's also his username there. He says, hello, everyone, and Sainted Muffin.
Hello.
My question this is, what horror games will you be playing during October, and what are some of your favorite horror movies? Thank you. Well, we talked about horror movies a little bit, but Alpha Omegason, you're going to be playing some Halloween-y scary games for October, aren't you?
Oh, yes, quite a bit. More than I can count. I've honestly been trying to get like I've got a ton, but I've been trying to schedule like what I'm going to play in a row. But I will be playing the Fatal Frame series. again. I'm probably going to skip on Fatal Frame 3 because I truly just did not get into it. I don't know, just not my cup of tea. But I would like to go back through the first 3 Silent Hill games again because I haven't played those in quite a while. And every time I seem to start up Silent Hill 1, I get interrupted and I quit playing. And let's see, other than that, I want to go back through Clock Tower 1 and 2 again for the bajillionth time. And I may end up going through a couple of random obscure games, you know, like Sweet Home on NES or Super Ghouls and Ghosts, Ghost and Goblins, shit like that, like the old school classic ones. Yeah, so that's... Oh, and Zombies Ate My Neighbors, but I will only do that if I have somebody to play with, because playing that game solo is really fucking hard during the last, like, 10 to 15 stages. So, yeah. That's some of my list. I have a great big list, but yeah, those are my games. Da-da-da.
That's a great list. That's a great list. For myself, you know, because we got the Monster Mash going on my channel this month, and you know, there's 3 that I picked out. There may be more, but I'm gonna be going through Luigi's Mansion one more time, just because I'm trying to get excited for the game coming out for the Nintendo 3DS. I'm gonna be diving. Yeah, it's a great game. I forgot how fun it was. I haven't played it in so long, probably since right after it came out. And I'm having a great time. Just started, so you know, we'll have more of that. I'm also going to be working on Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
Good choice.
I enjoy it very much. It's you know, and the music is just fantastic on that game. And the third, which, like I said, you know, 3 right now, but will probably be more as we go on, is Splatterhouse for the TurboGrafx 16. We'll be doing that one throughout the month of October. And also, because this is the month of October, I have my annual playthrough of Resident Evil DualShock Edition on the PlayStation. Of course, I do it on either the PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 3 because the PlayStation 1 takes a month and a half to load that game.
No, you missed out the other half month as well. It takes 2 months.
It takes 2 months. So, Saint Magnus, what do you got going on for October?
Well, I'm actually going to finally get started on Dark Souls. I've been playing through Demon Souls for like 2 months now, and you know, just for like, I just pick it up, play it, and put it down again after a while. And I'm going to actually start on Dark Souls because that's supposed to be a scary game. So, probably touch up on some of the GameCube remake of Resident Evil 1 because it's just beautiful. Even though it's 10 years old now.
Oh, dude, that game still holds up nowadays. That and Zero, both of those games are graphically just amazing.
Yep, and I'm going to actually tackle a game, Project Zero, which is basically Fatal Frame 1 that my good friend sent me, so I'm going to give that a try. Because I never actually got into the Fatal Frame or Project Zero games because they just didn't appeal to me, you know, a survival horror walking around with a camera. So...
Yeah, the concept is weird, like, no matter how you say it, but once you see it, like, in action and you have, like, the ghost coming after you, it's got the atmosphere, it's got the tone, it's got it all down, and it's pretty fucked up in a good way.
So I'm certainly going to have a stab at that. Well, I'm not sure, I've not picked any more games, but I might put them up on my channel to let you know, so... Yeah, RazorFist, what are you going to do?
Well, I think I'm going back and doing... some more Silent Hill, I think.
Good on you.
In honor of possibly going down to Universal Studios and checking out the Silent Hill haunted house that they got going on there, because I genuinely do want to do that, because it looks fucking cool, and I've always wanted to be in a Silent Hill themed haunted house that is just too badass. So yeah, I probably Silent Hill, maybe Clock Tower on SNES. System Shock 2 for certain, and because they just released that new official unofficial patch for System Shock 2 and Thief 2, which is great. Former Looking Glass guys actually made it, but yeah, so I'm those are going to be more of the horror themed games I'm going to be playing, I guess.
Looking forward to it. Chaos, do your job.
Not as much as I am. Fucking anytime I can play System Shock 2, my erection has an erection. So.
A double boner.
Honestly, it's just a lot of wear and tear on his jeans. It's very annoying. So.
Yeah, and just getting into the fucking things is a job as it is.
Well, I was going to say, when you have to have a seamstress on hand for any time that somebody utters the word system and shock, then adds a number to it, it's just like, oh shit, there it goes. Poor zipper.
No, Oh, when you're like me and you have my waifish girlish figure, you don't have a problem.
Oh, that dainty little lady. But one thing, I wasn't too sure about this, but you brought up Silent Hill. Do you have Silent Hill 2 on the regular Xbox?
I certainly do, and that's probably the best version I have. I do have it on PC, and actually, the Xbox version's a lot more stable. It's got fewer issues. You get better graphics on... Well, not better graphics, general. I think it runs on a lower resolution. But the problem with Silent Hill 2 for PC, I've wanted to play all the way through it on PC for the longest time, because obviously, if you can get it on PC, that's usually what I'm going to do. But it's just got so many issues and so many glitches and so many compatibility problems with every...
Well, I was going to say, isn't there any fan patches out for it?
There's all kinds of fan patches, but the problem is every time you patch one problem, a new one arises. It's like a leaky boat. It's fucking ridiculous.
I was going to say, man, if you've got like the proper cables, like the component cables for the regular Xbox, I always tell people just hook that up, because, I mean, Silent Hill 2, was it Shattered Memories? Or... no, Restless Dreams. Sorry, I got them mixed up. But Restless Dreams, like it's got that entire extra story segment to go through, and it's just like, to me, it's the definitive version. I had heard a long time ago about the PC port being kind of iffy and everything, but anytime I think about Silent Hill, and when I mentioned I wanted to go through them, I was like, okay, Silent Hill 1 on PS1, Silent Hill 2 on Xbox, Silent Hill 3 on PS2, because I don't have it for Xbox. So that's like how I'm going to play everything there. So 3 different consoles, 3 different Silent Hill games.
And Silent Hill 4 is pretty good on Xbox too, actually.
Yeah, but, see, I heard that. I've only gone to play Part 2 on there. That was like the only version I got to try on there, unfortunately.
Yeah, and actually, for the record, that is my favorite Silent Hill game, is 4. So I'm very much go against the flow on that one.
Well, you have actually mentioned it before, so yeah.
Well, at least we all have a nice bevy of horror games that we're going to be playing. I honestly want to try to toss up, because I had mentioned Clock Tower, I really do want to play Haunting Ground again, because I don't know, I've been thinking about playing the game, especially since there was, like, in the rumor mill, apparently Haunting Ground is supposed to get the HD treatment and get tossed on to PSN, which I like that idea quite a bit. But I don't know if that's true or if it's just going to become a PS2 classic, which would be amazing because the game didn't sell for shit, even though it was really good. But still, it's a fantastic title.
And speaking of horror, fucking Resident Evil 2 possible remake.
Yeah,
that's very
talk
true.
About that a little later.
Everybody's having wet dreams now.
I know.
You have no idea that. Yeah.
But we're gonna talk about that at length a little later.
I know we are, and that's why. See, look what you did. Now they've all got their throbbing erections. They're just punching.
Then let's segue. We all talked about our horror games.
We could. That's a great idea. But we thank you for joining us in the Hate-Bit BallBag. I know it was kind of a short one, but RazorFist, he can't wait to talk about Resident Evil 2. But I also want to remind you that the Hate-Bit BallBag was brought to us by the Hate-Bit Podcast Home Abortion Kit, because it brings out the kid in you. And other things. And we'll hear more from them as the weeks go on. Anyway.
The Hate-Bit Home Abortion Kit. You'll have a ripping good feeling deep down in your guts.
Yes. Yes. That's good. You know what? You're hired. Anyway, now RazorFist, I think I read this right. Resident Evil 2 Remake will need fan support, as if that ever meant anything to Capcom going on.
Yeah, when was the last time they actually listened to the fans?
What is that? Gig gave a shit, man.
Yeah. I still can't help it though. I'm still giddy as a schoolgirl over this.
Ditto.
I am happier than Hannah Minx in a push-up bra factory. Because I think at the end of the day, it's because Resident Evil 2 to me is just the pinnacle of this series. It's just this monument to what the series could sort of achieve. And given a proper facelift, like in the vein of the GameCube remake of the original Resident Evil, because that fucking rules, this game could not only give, longtime fans like myself the, tension and atmosphere and the horror elements that we've been jonesing for basically the entirety of this console generation, but, if it was actually successful, it could show the empty suits in fucking, where's their headquarters? Osaka or Tokyo? I think it's Osaka. That there's still actually like
Pretty
money
sure
to be
Osaka.
made off of scary Resident Evil games. But on the other hand, this is Capcom. Joe Biden is a road fucking scholar next to these simpering dolts. The last guy who held his breath waiting for Capcom to do something smart ultimately wound up with a face more blue than Sainted's balls.
Oi, 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 oi. Leave my balls out of it, dickhead.
I'm just fucking with ya.
I know.
We love you, Sainted.
Hey, your balls. You threw him off the track there.
Yeah, great, isn't it?
I
Somebody
sincerely,
rewind the tape. I don't think he's talking.
I sincerely concur with everything RazorFist said, because I said it in a video already, and I've been saying it for years, ever since we jumped into the last generation and then into this generation. I would love to have seen a Resident Evil 2 remake. And again, remakes always put up a bunch of red flags and everything, and people get worried. And that's understandable, because if they took Resident Evil 2 and then turned it into Resident Evil 5, then there's a problem. There's a great big problem, because there's one thing of fucking up stuff, but to fuck up something people have like held dear to them for years is like a big time no-no. The Mega Man Legends 3 thing pissed off a lot of fucking people, and it's ironic because that had over 100,000 supporters online and still couldn't get the green light even after Capcom acknowledged it. And now they're saying that they need further acknowledgement for something that for the better part of 15 years has still remained relevant. So it's easy money. And when I say easy money, sure, they have to put in the development time. No fucking shit. That doesn't take a rocket scientist. But if it is done, just like RazorFist said, just like the Resident Evil remake on GameCube, or like Resident Evil 0, if it's done in that same exact style, I could not hand them my money any faster. I don't know about
I don't know about 0, because if it's got that fucking inventory.
And I don't mean like, that part is notorious for being very fucking silly. It's just like, what room did I leave that fucking one item in? Just running around like an asshole instead of just going to the item chest. But because when I mentioned 0 was originally on Nintendo 64, and then they stopped production of that, remade it from the ground up on GameCube, as an exclusive until later ported to Wii. But just, I've yammered on about this in my video. I won't keep on talking about it, but it's a great fucking idea. What say you, Mr. Chaos and Mr. Magnus?
Well, for me, as you were stating earlier about how remakes typically, they do set up some red flags, and I think, can't they come up with a new fucking game? But no, clearly they can't. So, I've always been one to say that, the consoles lately, especially the PlayStation 3, have not been used to their full potential. And I think that if somebody, I don't know who, but somebody over at Capcom would just get creative with the technology that's available with that classic story, albeit a very corny one, the possibilities are endless. They could really justify... because as Manga Minx brought up last week about how the controls are, we didn't know it then, but they were shit. And I think that if they really took advantage of the modern technology, we could have something really neat. What say you, Sainted Magnus?
You pretty much said everything that I would have said. The Resident Evil 2 was probably one of my favourite Resident Evil games out there. And I hope if they ever do remake it, that it does actually look like the GameCube ones, because the GameCube ones were fantastic.
Sure, and I hope Sherry Birkin can actually fucking move.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice. A little kid that goes as slow as she does is depressing.
Yeah.
On every level.
Especially near giant crocodiles.
Or not to mention, it's got to be funny, seeing the infected thing vomit on a small child. That's kind of funny.
But there is one thing I actually want to say that I don't want to see in the if they make a remake. keep the Res Evil fucking 4, 5, and 6 bloody gameplay styles away from it.
Oh yeah, far, far away from it.
You know, we don't want Call of Resident Evil 2.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that's
Call
how,
of Evil.
if you turn it into a third-person shooter, essentially, like, I mean, Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6, that's basically what they are. I mean, you can see it's an over-the-shoulder camera, whatever. If it's like that, one of the most tense things that you ever had was, like, when you were playing Resident Evil 2, and you're running around, like, the police station or wherever, and you'd enter a room, like a big corridor, and you got a fixed camera angle that shows you. And you don't see any zombies, but you can hear them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'd instantly be like, oh, fuck, which corner, if I go, like, which way should I go? Where's the zombie going to be at? You know,
The
what I mean?
dragging of the feet, the drippy sound is just, oh, fuck.
Well, I'd like them to be actually randomly generated zombies, you know, like location-wise, because on the original version, you could tell you knew where the zombies were, and they were just basically memorization.
Yeah, that's true, but I think some of the zombies really need to be there. Like, the zombie that jumps out and grabs you if you go too close to the window in the police station and shit like that. You gotta have some scripted moments, because that's class. Although I'd love to have them do the fake-outs like in the Resident Evil 1 remake. How you thought something was going to happen because it's an iconic moment in the game, but it didn't happen. And you'd be like, oh, what the fuck just happened? There, crows were supposed to fly through the windows, but they didn't fly through. What the fuck? You know what I mean?
And you get to be tense for the next 25 minutes.
I know, and then finally it actually pays off, and you're like, ah, fuck!
One of my favourite cutscenes on Resident Evil 2 was when it introduced the liquor, and you just see it crawling along the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Wouldn't it be neat? Wouldn't it be neat, though, like, if they changed his location, and so you enter that same room, and you can see the dripping blood, and then you look up, and he's not there, and you're like, oh, fuck!
Where
and
is
so
he?
the game, like, keeps faking you out, like, oh, he's gonna be here, oh, he's gonna be here, and then he pops out randomly somewhere. That'd be
Yeah, he
great.
like crashes out of the front of the Coke machine.
Yeah, because Resident Evil 2 is one of those games where jump out scares work,
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, see, it works whenever it's that kind of setting. Like, if we're talking about the over-the-shoulder thing, it's not nearly as scary. But if you're like, okay, the fake-out idea is very, very good. I like that a whole lot. If it's like, okay, the liquor is supposed to be there, it's not. Okay, so you just continue onward. You go in through the one door and everything, and all of a sudden file cabinets just get knocked over and fucking liquor just, like, jumps on top of them. Like, you wouldn't expect that to happen, but, if you play through, like, a different time, the liquor is actually in that that one location where it usually is, or it comes through a window another time. Like, there's a lot they could do, and now I will beat this dead horse again. I don't give a fuck. I just want a playable build of what they have of Resident Evil 1.5 as an unlockable, as a part of a collector's edition, as anything. I don't give a fuck if you say I need your firstborn. You can have him. That's fine. Whatever. Just give me the fucking thing. I'd be really happy. I've been waiting for over a decade for this thing, and I'm not alone when I say that. So yeah, if we're gonna celebrate Resident Evil 2 with a big remake and talk about its storied history, then damn it, we should have the entire thing. So,
and Claire Redfield in HD.
Somebody's rubbing.
No, Ada Wong in HD.
Ada Wong's already in HD.
This is true.
But that Ada Wong, the Ada Wong that wasn't quite as unfucking bearable as she is now.
Yeah,
what about
the Ada
Annette
Wong
Birkin?
that wasn't quite before she became an anime cliche, like Dragon Lady. But yeah.
I'm down with Annette Birkin, like in that lab coat and shit. I'm just like, show me the T-virus, bitch. Show me the T-virus. Oh, wait, no, that's the G-virus? Ooh, now I know where that spot is.
The G-virus.
Lots of bad puns with G-spot, G-virus, and great
G-string, etc.
What are you talking about? It's all about Barry. Oh, yeah.
They need to make an adventure for Barry alone. I think every Resident Evil fan will buy that game because it's Barry Burton, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, if they had an extra mode, seriously, I like right now, I have a shit-eating grin on my face. If they had a mode just like they did with Tofu and like they did with Hunk, just called, Barry's mode, where he ran around with his great big fucking gun that could just one-shot everything, and he just spouted off one-liners like he's fucking, like, retarded. I would
Like
be
he's
the
Barry
happiest... Yeah, Barry Burton smash. And I'd be like, oh my god, that was single-handedly the coolest thing I've ever heard. Just because it's Barry Burton saying it.
You know what?
Also, his beard gives him more defense. There you go.
You know what? No, you know what? Barry Burton is the Chuck Norris of the Resident Evil world.
He really is.
Yeah, he is. And
Why
he's
does he about conservative religious remarks as well?
No.
Hey now, Clint Eastwood's conservative too. Doesn't stop him from being a badass.
No,
Yeah,
no. Clint Eastwood is not conservative. He's just for sale. For rent, I might add. Also, his chair is also for rent. I understand.
Hey, okay, Squint. Okay, we're gonna call him Squint Eastwood because he can do damage to your fucking like upper body just by squinting hard enough at you. He's the fucking man.
I know. Do you realize that if Cyclops Scott Summers had that squint power, he wouldn't need that visor.
No, that's true.
No.
He
No,
could
it'd just
control
be like a
flavor just like
medical
that
laser.
via that squint power. But see, you have to have been in at least 100,000 westerns to develop a squint like that.
It's true.
Why is Clint Eastwood not? They don't make westerns anymore. What am I talking about?
Oh, they made a true grit western last year, which wasn't.
Well, that was a remake. Well, we can talk about that some other time. I haven't seen it yet, so don't ruin it for me. But anyway, the Resident Evil 2 remake could be a great thing, and I think this could, if it works out right, could redeem Capcom on a certain level. However, if they completely ruin this thing, they will be booed until my throat is sore.
No, we'll just beat them senseless.
Well, we don't live in Osaka.
I don't care.
A minute, wait. We should start a Kickstarter to get
the Hate-Bit to
Yeah, a Kickstarter. Get the entire Hate-Bit podcast on an airplane so we can go there in tow and beat the fucking shit out of every single suit there until they understand that we're not fucking around.
I'm gonna stand out there with my big boots and just kick the building until it falls over.
And can we demand Mega Man Legends 3 as well?
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I honestly, I'll be like, okay, I want another Onimusha. Okay, me and RazorFist have been fucking clamoring for another Breath of Fire, and don't give me goddamn Dragon Quarter. I will fucking cut a bitch if you give me another Dragon Quarter.
Yeah.
I want another Breath of Fire 3 or 4.
God damn it!
Like and you know what? They're in complete control of the Clock Tower series. Give me another fucking Clock Tower. Do you think this is a fucking game? No. And give me a proper goddamn Street Fighter game, you fucking simpletons. And, just it's an endless sea of demands. But you know what? We'd have plenty of time because we just duct taped the door shut. Nobody could get through duct tape. So
exactly. And if they resist, we will introduce them to Almighty Noogies.
Noogies.
Dude, and purple nurples. I mean, like extreme ones where we lift them.
Official Hate-Bit purple nurples.
Yes.
Burple nurples, if you will. Anyway.
That's painful.
It is. That's very painful. But we got to move on because we got a bit of a podcast going on here. In other news, Konami apparently has asked Hideo Kojima to helm the Silent Hill series. For more, we go to RazorFist. Razor?
God damn, always throwing it to me.
Well, because you're good at that sort of thing, and you hate Hideo Kojima.
I do. God.
See, did you feel that? You feel that? All you did was affirm what I said, and it was just there was rage behind it.
Well,
I
think it's because, well, as with so much news that's been sort of unleashed from the industry lately, from the irritable bowels of the modern game industry, I don't know whether to laugh or just break down and fucking weep. Like what are they thinking? What is the what conversation led to, like, hey guys, the Silent Hill series lost the magic? I personally don't think it has. I thought fucking Downpour was awesome, but apparently it's lost the magic, quote unquote. It's found itself, mired in linearity and indulgent melodrama. I know. Let's relay that fucking baton on over to Hideo Kojima, shall we? Yeah, let's hand the pyromaniac the Zippo. What could possibly fucking go wrong? If your problem is melodrama and indulgence, why would you hand it off to Hideo fucking Kojima? What in the fuck are you thinking? I mean, granted, this series at this point has more fucking dents and dings than Nick Nolte's rental car, but don't tell me it's already hit the bottom and it can't get any worse. Motherfucker, if Resident Evil 6 could somehow find a way to fillet even more erect penises than its predecessor, the sky is officially the fucking limit with this little, I don't know, survival horror suck-off. I mean, could it get any worse than Homecoming? Could it get any worse than Book of Memories? Yes! Like, okay, imagine Book of Memories, but in between every, like, isometric, Diablo-worshipping fucking frame of that shit pile, you could take a 50-minute break for a maudlin cutscene, replete with fucking slow-mo backflipping ninja combat. You could bend over double and spell the word run while Hideo violently thrusts his savage Oriental Beanie Weenie into your mouth in rapid succession until his semi-solid snake pops like a cheap water balloon deep into your fucking digestive tract.
Take a breath.
Considerably fucking worse.
Take a fucking
and
breath.
just so you know, we technically didn't have a rant scheduled, but at least you got a freebie. You like that, huh? Come on, you like it, everybody.
It wasn't a full-blown rant. It wasn't a full-blown rant, but we definitely winged him just then.
Also, we are going to get a mop and bucket because RazorFist just choked a bitch, and it's a mess. So
I'm sorry.
I'll be quiet while I mop up.
This is what happens when you trip my rant reflex.
Yeah, I'm up to my ankles in spit right now.
The umbrella didn't work.
No, I got that slicker. It didn't work out. But, see? You wonder why I go to you for these things? This is why I go to you for these things.
Yeah, and while we're on the subject of Hideo Kojima, the Zone of the Enders HD Collector's Edition got announced. Comes with the demo for Revengeance. Notice a trend.
Yeah,
Sorry,
a little.
Now I can't get the phrase "savage Oriental Beanie Weenie" out of my mind.
That is a fantastic phrase. That should go on a T-shirt.
I don't think that those kind of weenies should be on shirts. I don't think that they should exist.
No, those sound like those kind of weenies come out of a can.
Yeah, they're supposed to be served with like a toothpick and whatnot, and then in
a fine gravy,
and with a sad face for Oriental women. So there you go.
Yeah.
Sad face.
Oh.
Wow, now you're gonna have all like the Asian people saying it's not Oriental, it's Asian.
I'm like, it's still sad face and small at the end of the day. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
at the end, people are sad. Families have been destroyed. Let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, families have been destroyed, assuming that we could actually get it in there to form one. Yeah, that's always depressing.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. You sly dog, you. Anyway. We got other news going on here on the Hate-Bit podcast. We got RazorFist asked me to talk about this, but I'm not going to throw it to RazorFist because he's going to get mad at me again.
Thank you.
Apparently, BioWare founders and through intermediaries, there's some talk that there was blaming the BioWare founders blaming fans' negativity for their, shall we say, untimely departure. I don't know anything about that, really. I mean, well, when people say you suck, you'd think, you would improve, not just, throw your hands down, say, this is my ball and I'm going home.
Well,
yeah, but
take fucking notes.
There's a lot of people that don't ever want to take any kind of blame for what they do. It's like, well, we didn't actually put out a bunch of half-assed products. You just didn't want to like them. You just didn't want to enjoy them. And you just told everybody that they were bad, so then they didn't buy them. They were great. Fuck all of you. And, sob fest, cry fest, and then, a couple binges later, and then they come up with this as their retort, officially. It just makes no fucking sense. It's just like, look, you fucked up. Get over it.
Well, and I think maybe they're just taking a few cues from, I don't know, EA, Capcom, Toy Headquarters. It's the audience's fault. Yeah. You release a substandard product, and it's our fucking fault that we didn't want it.
No shit. Like,
yeah.
You know what, guys? My editor and I already we already opened the bidding on Twitter. But I wonder if my fellow Hate-Bit whoremongers here would care to place bets on just how long BioWare will be able to remain solvent. Like, I'm down. Put me down for 2 years. I'm willing to give them 2 fucking years of existence.
You give them a solid 24 months?
Yeah, I give them a solid 24 months. They got to live. What do you think, Alpha?
I wish I was a bookie right now. I really do.
Get your pen and paper out.
I was gonna say honestly, 2 years. 2 years. Let's see. That would get us. And
That would get
I'm
us to
assuming that
Dragon Age 3.
the next Xbox and the next PS3 would be at. I think that they would be able to last until the very beginning of the next generation, just so that they could ultimately fail there. And because it was so expensive to produce said games during that little spiel, there goes my words fucking up. But that would be their last hurrah. So yeah, 2015 would probably be the end of them to me.
I really wish we could get an office pool going on here. I think we're gonna focus on that more. I'm pretty sure this is illegal in however many states that were heard, but
Stuff them.
no,
Private bet.
I was gonna say, does it count if you're betting over the internet?
that depends on what state you live in.
Oh, well, I'm in PA. We have tons of stupid laws here, so.
Oh, well, exactly. You guys have all kinds of stupid shit. So, and good for you.
I'd say $10 all in. Fucking
$10 only. Well, my question is, I mean, I'm kind of surprised they made it this far.
Well, I mean, I think the big hit. I mean, Mass Effect 3 obviously hurt him in a big way. Dragon Age 2 was obviously a disappointment in terms of sales compared to Dragon Age Origins. But we all know what is causing all this, and its name is the Old Republic. I mean,
yeah.
$500 million, at least that's the theoretical estimate, spent on a fucking game. There's just no fucking way. There's no fucking way that did not kill them. It's too much money to fucking spend on a game and then turn around and lose subscribers and go free to play inside of the first fucking year.
And on top of that, even when you go free to play, nobody still gives a shit.
Nobody gives a shit. I mean, they're still hemorrhaging subscribers. I wouldn't be shocked if within a year the game is just wrapped up entirely.
The thing, you know what's fucked up? Even if the Mass Effect 3 thing didn't happen, even if Dragon Age 2 didn't happen, I really think that they'd still be in the same fucking boat. Just because of how bad that was. I mean, that's not, like, that's very irregular for that big of a failure to occur. And, you know, this isn't, like, taking, like, easy knocks at them. Like, how often can you see that somebody lost that much off of just one item in gaming? And I'm not talking about consoles or anything. I'm talking about just a singular fucking game. You know, that right there, even if they had all their cards in order, that was the biggest fuck-up. They put way too much stock into that and just came up... Well, I can't even say short. That would be actually a huge understatement. So yeah,
they came up Oriental Beanie Weenie.
Yep.
Savage Oriental.
There we go. We have something to
Savagely Oriental Beanie Weenie.
Because that's the thing. I never call Asia. I just call it the Savage Orient. So.
You mean those sandal-wearing fish eaters?
Oh man, are you writing half these down? Because these will.
I am. God damn it! They're going on T-shirts.
Yes.
Yes.
That's where the real money is, I tell you.
And T-shirts.
Broadcasting. I think next week when we go on the air, you need to say broadcasting live from the Savage Orient.
Capital.
Capital idea.
Anyway, you know what? It looks like our podcast here is winding down. We're getting towards the end, and RazorFist already tore your face open a little bit about Konami, so there's not going to be a rant this week, but tune in next week. We'll have a rant for you. We're not sure who from, because we never know who's going to show up on the Hate-Bit podcast, if you know what I mean. Anyway, it's time for my favorite part, your favorite part, the Hate-Bit Retrospective, and you guys have been breaking our balls a little bit about this for a little while, and we decided, I've been doing some research, and we all seem to be kind of well-versed in the ways of the world, and it's time for us to do a Hate-Bit Retrospective about the Nintendo Gamecube. Now, I've got a lot of fond memories of the Gamecube, and I know all these boys do, but you know what? I want Alpha Omega Sin to start this one because, his name starts with an A, and that's first. So
okay.
See, there you go. Alpha Omega Sin, tell us your experiences with the Nintendo Gamecube.
Let's see. When the GameCube came out, I remember the very first time that I got my hands on the system. There was a store franchise. I'm not too sure if anybody listening or anybody on podcast remembers, but it was called Media Play. and media play was it was relatively big. It was you know
It was a
they
shitty
had
video player on Windows, right?
what's up?
No? It
Oh
was
no,
a
that's
shitty
that's
video player
that's
on
media
Windows.
player.
Right.
Media play was kind of cool because they had CDs, DVDs, video games, T-shirts, anime fucking figures, toys, all sorts of random shit. But they had kiosks there for the GameCube, and I remember going with my friends to the mall because we were losers and hung out at the mall all the time, like all cool kids do.
Right.
But so we went there, and I remember playing Luigi's Mansion and Wave Race Blue Storm on the GameCube, and I was just blown away. And I remember us talking about the controller a whole lot because we really liked it. Because I mean, you know, we went from the Nintendo 64 with its one singular analog stick to this one, which had you know, dual analog sticks and everything. The only thing I remember saying is, who the fuck is this D-pad supposed to be designed for? Because my thumb engulfed it. Like, it was like Godzilla trying to fucking use a trackpad on a laptop.
Smallest. Yeah, it is serious. It's like a Smurf D-pad. It's like, what the fuck is with that thing? It's microscopic.
Dude, and the worst part about it, and we all were talking about this earlier, Resident Evil Remake, okay, I cannot play the remake without using the D-pad. I can't use the fucking analog stick. I'm dead fucking serious. If I use the analog stick, I just suddenly suck at the game. So using the D-pad, it was like one of the worst experiences. I thought about getting like one of the worst fucking third-party GameCube controllers just because the D-pad was a little bit bigger, but I couldn't. The you know, the first party fucking enthusiast in me was just like, don't do it. You know, you'll just be really unhappy with it because the entire thing will feel like it's going to shatter anytime you squeeze the controller.
And you'll feel like a whore.
Yeah, I really will. It'll be like, oh god, I should just put fucking condoms on all my fingers so they don't get dirty. But yeah, so that was the first time I got to play it. It was just really fucking cool at the time. I remember like Luigi's Mansion being kind of like, it was weird because I was impressed with it, but I was also disappointed with it. I was disappointed because I was like, I really want a new Super Mario game, you know, a platforming game. But I had Luigi's Mansion, and that was kind of like their go-to answer to a certain degree with it. But then we got Super Mario Sunshine, and you know, that filled in that void. But yeah, it just, I don't know. That was my first impression with it. Was I liked a whole lot. Graphics were amazing. Controller was pretty cool. D-pad sucked ass. Yeah, so I will take my ball and I will hand it to the Sainted Magnus. How was your first GameCube experience, thingy-majig?
My first GameCube experience was when I was 17 and I went into my local electronics store and they had one on display, the Nintendo Gamecube. And the game that they had on was, they had the demo run of Rogue Squadron 2. You know, Rogue Leader.
Oh hell yeah!
And
yeah!
I thought they were showing the Star Wars film. Because when you see the X-wing fly past the moon going towards the Death Star, I thought, fucking hell, is this the movie? And then it says gameplay. I was like, what the fuck is this? And I was instantly hooked. I thought, how can something that small kick out that much graphic? You know, it looked that good. It was a beautiful, beautiful system. You know, in terms of graphical power. And it was very underrated.
GameCube, I think that's the watchword for the GameCube, man, is underrated.
Yeah, it's the word to describe the GameCube, because it was such a good Nintendo console. You know, considering that they've gone from the 64 to that, you know, its first disc-based system. And for its first disc-based system, it worked really well. And everything just seemed a bit small.
Well, you know, it was a great system, and what's funny is I say it was less adventurous with peripherals and accessories than the N64 had been, because if you go through any yard sale nowadays, you'll find just a bevy of accessories for that N64 controller. And I always thought the N64 controller looked like an elephant with a pimple on the bridge of its nose, but that's just me. You know, you have the, you know, if you guys remember, the GameCube had interconnectivity with the Game Boy Advance through use of the Game Boy, or the GameCube Game Boy Advance cable, or as I like to call it, the Wii U beta version. And it was a great thing. It was a machine that did so much. For me, what I think is neat is everyone talks about Luigi's Mansion and how that really gave Luigi his own life as, finally, could stand on his own feet as a character in his own game. But I think that I hate to advocate sports titles, but there's a few really standout games that I don't think get as much love as I think they should. One of them is 1080 Avalanche, which,
Oh.
despite the rather faggoty soundtrack, is a damn fine game. And very intuitive controls. I was surprised. A game that moves. I mean, you want to talk about speed of processing, and that game moved really fast and was kind of scary in its own parts. That one and Wave Race Blue Storm, a fantastic game that I don't think got the credit it deserves. The entire system didn't, but
Yeah.
two great games.
Yeah, the system was put down to the floor before people could give it the chance it needed. You see, it came out just in the similar launch window to the Xbox, and it was very tight competition back in those days. Now it's not as tight as what it was. Everyone's like, yeah, I'm an Xbox gamer, yeah, I'm a PlayStation gamer, yeah, I'm a Wii gamer. That back then it was, there was the PlayStation 2 that had the versatility with the DVD player and the CD player options. The Xbox, which had the online nailed down. It was so good but you had to have a credit card to play anything online though. That was weird.
Well, it was really a bummer for me. I mean, in hindsight now, I think back to 2004, 2005, when GameStop was essentially, and other game retailers, because back then, you wouldn't believe this, but years ago, there were other game retailers. And
What?
there was. And they were just giving away GameCubes. All these special bundles. Nintendo was trying anything to get people to buy this fucking thing. And now they were released with all this limited software that now goes for ridiculous amounts of money on eBay. And I feel so stupid that, I could have just saved some money and bought these things and I'd be a much happier man for it. But,
Yeah.
oh well.
It was just, it just got left in the dust. I think the PS2 hype train was big time. I think really it was just the market was a little burned out, frankly. You had the Dreamcast, then the PS2, then the Xbox, and now way on the tail end you got the GameCube. So it's like, it all just kind of came at once. I think by the time the GameCube rolled around, everyone was just sort of burned out on new systems. And the kind of lackluster launch window or launch lineup didn't help much, and it wasn't.
Well, they
it was
tried
a
a lot
while.
of new things.
It was a while before they got. What do you think the first killer app for the system was? I always assumed it was the new Metroid. It was Metroid was the first big killer app for the GameCube.
Yeah, but 2003 was a good year for that system. You mentioned Metroid. It had Time Splitters 2 at the time that had just come out. It had fucking that new Zelda game, the Zelda Wind Waker.
Right.
That year was such a good year for that system. It had some real top class first party titles there. There was Mario Sunshine, which had just come out in 2002. So it was.
What year did Smash Brothers Melee come out?
I think 2003.
Okay, because that one, I know a lot of people still consider it to be the best of that series and still play the living shit out of that. And admittedly, is a really, really good game. And one that blew up out of the blue. It doesn't have to do with the launch, but just a killer app, despite, varying opinions and whatnot. But Animal Crossing was a really big title for it for the time.
Huge.
And I mean, it was very unique. It had a Sims feeling to it, but wasn't The Sims. It just had that similarity to it. But it was honestly a very cool game. I remember I was actually addicted to playing it for a while. I kept resetting my clock and everything so I could try to do everything I wanted without waiting an entire fucking year.
Yeah, we mentioned it before. The F-Zero game on what is it called?
F-Zero
F-Zero GX.
Yeah. Great
GX.
Fucking game. Great game.
And that's made by Sega too.
Yeah, fantastic.
Gotta thank the fine folks at Sega.
People say it was just the first party that held that system together, but I actually strongly contest that. I think they had some really strong third party. I think, for instance, fucking F-Zero and Star Fox went third party. I I actually am not one of the people who hate Star Fox Assault. I thought it was a great game. I think they went
Who
overboard.
hates Star Fox Assault?
They went overboard with the on foot segments, but aside from that,
Well,
it's a solid follow up.
I would say overboard. I mean, more so than you would expect, but it's still very balanced gameplay.
Yeah, I dig a fucking game. I just thought they could have dialed back some of those segments. It's one of the rare instances where I'll say the game should have been more on rails than it was.
Yeah, I'll
It's a
agree with
little
that,
too-
and I think they should have spent a little more time, casting the voices. Than
Oh,
they
absolutely.
did.
And they fucked the Star Wolf team. What the fuck happened to
I
those
know.
guys? They're like, hey,
I know.
let's put a Panther guy in there. Oh, and now Leon is totally insane instead of just some poncy British dude.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck happened there? And also, I gotta throw this out there for underrated titles on the GameCube. You guys are gonna laugh at me, but it's a Capcom game. It was third party. It is, if you want a dumb arcade like third person shooter that is just like, there's no thinking required whatsoever. Product number 3 for fucking GameCube.
PN3,
yeah.
yeah.
It's actually really good. All it is thudding techno and hot bitches shooting robots, and that's all it is. But it's like, if you just want to turn your brain off for an afternoon, you could do much, much worse than this game. It's actually a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Now, if you want to talk about, I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was saying, now you talk about games like that just don't require any thinking, don't require any process of the brain whatsoever, and then you go to the complete flip side, a game that actually fucks with you, which was Eternal Darkness: Sanity's Requiem. As far as I know, the only Nintendo first party. I think it was the first party or second party. I can't remember.
No, it was Silicon Knights made that.
Silicon Knights, so second party Nintendo survival horror, a game that Alpha Megazin, tell your story about how the game fucks with you, because you tell it so well.
Eternal Darkness. There's survival horror games out there. They're all about jump scares, the mood, the setting, and everything. This takes it up so many different levels. The programmers did something ingenious, and nobody has ever tried doing this again. And if they did, they'd probably be called out on it. But what they do is they go out of their way to do things to say, for you have a sanity meter in the game. So the more that your character encounters bad guys and everything or gets damaged, the sanity meter starts rising. Once it starts maxing out, that's when the sanity effects will start going off. One of the sanity effects, and the one that I remember so prominently from the game, is the game will look like it actually flicks. Like the screen will flicker and it looks like it reset. It goes back to the GameCube startup logo and everything, and even to the start menu. And it will sit there at the title screen, and then all of a sudden it just like bleeds back into the game, and you're fighting for your life to get back into it.
Yeah, or it'll turn up and down the volume.
Yeah.
Or like the one that really fucked with me was the fly crawling across the screen. I was like, God damn it, stupid fly, get off my screen. I'm like, oh
dude,
shit, the game's fucking.
They do that, and it's fucked up. There's ones like, okay, we've all seen our fair share of like graphical glitches in the game. Well, they have one where it looks like everything's just melting and like bleeding and whatnot, and it's really fucked up because you just can't tell what's going on, and you're just like, what the fuck is happening? But these are just like fine example. I mean, like, I'm scratching the fucking surface, mind you, because there's a lot that they have happen in the game. But it's such a great game. And keep in mind, this game was made by the same people that did Blood Omen: Legacy of Kain, which I still say has like some of the best voice acting in any game I've ever played. It's a very good RPG, which most people know. Legacy of Kain, Blood Omen: Legacy of Kain, Defiance, and the Soul Reaver games. But it just, oh gosh, it's such a fantastic game. But it's easily like in my top 10 of games on there.
Well, yeah, and Silicon Knights too. I mean, they're just, unfortunately, they went the way of the buffalo after fucking Too Human, and then they made that atrocious X-Men RPG, X-Men Destiny, last year. Oh, what a fucking terrible game. But back then, man, they were on top of the fucking world. They did Blood Omen, they did Eternal Darkness. For the two people on the planet who actually like this version, Metal Gear Solid: The Two Snakes for the GameCube, And
No, I don't like that version. I don't like that version because it's more of a Nintendo product placement.
Yeah, but I mean that whole thing, that they built a pretty fucking good legacy by that point, is what I'm saying. But they all let it slide by the wayside, sadly.
You know what? Since we're actually going on about some of the things, I'm going to bring up one thing about the system that really pissed me off because it was such a missed opportunity, and then some. And I remember it was one of the running jokes of the system, but it was the lack of Nintendo supporting online gameplay, and especially considering they have lots and lots of titles that are all about multiplayer.
You had a
Well-
choice of a dial-up and an Ethernet bleeding modem that you could get for the thing.
Well, yeah,
If I
but
remember
here's the
right.
thing. Did they really want to support the thing? No. It was up to Sega to go and support it themselves with fucking Phantasy Star, which they should have been making, like, you know, Phantasy Star versions of the system, like complete with a keyboard controller, which they did actually make that. I forget the I think the company's name is Hori, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought
put
it
out
was
that-
Ashi that made that.
Ashi.
Was it Hashi?
Yeah.
I think it's
Oh,
Hashi.
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, Hori did put out a really cool Super Nintendo controller for GameCube. I remember that. But
Well, Hori's
yeah.
also responsible for the in some ways better N64 controller too.
I've seen it. Does
The
never
one with the
help it.
repositioned analog stick. But we're not talking about the N64. Back to the GameCube.
But yeah, just
My
it was
fault.
a
My
very
fault.
it was a very big missed opportunity and something that, like, the entire time, because I mean, PS2 was going online. Was it doing as well as Xbox? Fuck no, but it was still
No.
doing it leagues better than GameCube was. Nintendo pretty much shied away from online, and people had thought, like, you know, they're never going to get with online. And it isn't until, like, this generation really late into it that they started really supporting it. But yeah, the GameCube should have been an online fucking beast, and it wasn't.
It could have been. It had the potential there to be like the next Dreamcast, but you know, in terms of the
Don't
online
ever
stuff,
say that. That's pretty much a pejorative if you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Hey, you guys are like the Sega Dreamcast. Yeah, I'm gonna punch you in your lip.
I like the Sega Dreamcast.
Oh, I like the Sega Dreamcast very much too, but it is synonymous with failure.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. It was Sega's biggest failure, and it was
Spectacular
ultimately
fail,
the
I'd
end.
say.
It was
I
spectacular.
wouldn't say their biggest failing, but we're not talking about the Sega Dreamcast. We're talking about the Nintendo GameCube. And you know what?
Alright,
We might have to do. You know what? The Sega Dreamcast Hate-Bit Retrospective coming soon.
Fair enough.
Oh, and there another thing that kind of sucked was at the time Capcom did an exclusive deal with Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo. Microsoft got Dino Crisis. Sony, what the fuck did Sony get? Oh, Sony got Onimusha,
Devil
and
May
Nintendo
Cry.
was going to get Resident Evil 4. And we
Yeah.
all know how that happened.
Ugh.
Those
This is
exclusive
what
rights.
this is what the initiated called the Osaka screw job.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
was
it-
BS. They released Resident Evil 4 for GameCube, much better looking version. Then they were like, oh, there's lots of dollars over there on the PS2, all that shovelware. So they were like, well, we got to release it for that. So they pushed through the PS2 version. They added in this ham-fisted Ada Wong segment into the game that is just, you can tell the creators' hearts are not in it at all. It doesn't feel as well put together, as well crafted as the Leon campaign at all. It's just, they were transparently just trying to find reasons to bring it over to the PS2, basically. And yeah, he wound up leaving the company. The rest is fucking history. Oh, and they also brought it over to the Wii. So there's that. But
Yeah, and apparently the Wii's the definitive version of that game.
it's
Well,
supposed to
and-
be pretty good.
And so we don't try ending this entire retrospective on a low note. I will bring up a couple other really good games on it that just, for one reason or another, did not get any kind of recognition, one of which is just obscure as fuck. But if you get it and the microphone with it, trust me, you need the microphone, you'll understand. It's called Odama.
I was playing that this morning.
Okay. Odama.
Yes, you do need the microphone.
I tried playing it without the microphone. I was like, this isn't working right. Oh, I guess I really do need it. But Odama is like, take an RTS and make it have sex with pinball. And it's two things that should never even be in the same exact city, let alone the same exact game. But it works really, really well. It's just one of those. It's so fucking far out in left field, but it ended up working because it was done well. I like that game a lot, despite the fact that it was very, very extremely fucking niche on a number of different levels.
Just be advised, get the microphone and make sure you don't live in an apartment building.
Yes, 'cause you will be fucking shouting, I assure you. Another one is the Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. I'm a big fan of the Paper Mario games, and that one definitely lived up to my expectations. I just like those a whole lot. And if you're a Legend of Zelda fan, there are so many Legend of Zelda games on the on GameCube. You have Wind
unbelievable.
Waker, you have the Four Swords Adventure, you have Ocarina of Time, you have Twilight Princess, and then they have that.
Majora's Mask was there as well.
Oh yeah, they got what the fuck do you call it? The Legend of Zelda Collector's Edition. And it's Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, Ocarina of Time, and Majora's Mask. And also it's a playable demo of Wind Waker. And if anybody's wondering, I'm actually holding it right now because I want to turn it over. But it's just one of those things. It's like, you know, there's lots of Legend of Zelda fans, but the GameCube is like where it's at because it fucking has everything with the exception of the Game Boy versions.
Well, see, do you realize that with the Game Boy player, for those of you who don't know about the Game Boy player, it's the GameCube's answer to the Super Game Boy. With the GameCube player coupled with the GameCube, that machine could potentially play every possible Zelda game up to that point.
Yeah.
It's available on that machine. That's kind of impressive, especially, you know, from a Zelda fan's perspective.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Because
You know, so
it was fantastic with the Pokemon games as well. Because like you mentioned before, you could use the use the Game Boy Advance with the thing, so you could actually transfer the Pokemon from your GBA game up onto the console, like you could do with the 64 and the transfer pack that they had. It's just that you had to buy a fucking £10 cable to do it. But I think the accessories that came out for the for the GameCube was actually pretty. They were pretty well. How can I?
Well, and they were the first ones. They were the first ones to really champion the wireless controller thing, weren't they?
Yeah, the Wavebird was fantastic.
I mean,
Yes,
I remember
very
them. I remember them making a big fucking deal out of the wireless controllers and having advertisements on TV for it for like a year straight, and that being kind of a big deal when that came out for the GameCube. And obviously, Microsoft and Sony wound up following suit.
Yeah,
and you know what's strange about it? They discontinued the Wavebird controller. Wavebird controllers actually go for like decent money now. They're like at least $30+, which is kind of crazy for an old first-party controller. But it's the fact that on Nintendo Wii, we're used to having the wireless controllers, and if you're using your Nintendo Wii to play GameCube games, you don't want to have a fucking wire going across your living room floor, your game
it
room
fucking
floor,
sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So the Wavebird controller, and I mean, those things, they take 2 AA batteries. Those motherfuckers last like forever, I swear.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
The
Oh, yeah,
first 2 AA's I popped in that bitch weren't even like the super like crazy Duracell lithium batteries of the future and whatever. These are just like pack-in batteries that came
year
with it.
2000.
Yeah, and like it was fucking astonishing, and I forget the exact estimate of hours that you get out of 2 batteries on a full charge,
It's like
but
15 or 20 hours or something like that.
it's something crazy, like a whole lot of hours, and I was like, nice, and it just
Well,
overall good controller, good design, fucking loved it.
Provided you're smart enough to turn it off after you're done playing with it.
Oh yeah, and there was some good third-party accessories there. Like there was a screen, for example. You could get a screen and have that on the back of your GameCube. It didn't actually look that bad. And obviously the aforementioned Game Boy player. Then there was the modems that you could get for the thing. The dial-up modem and the broadband modem. So you had options. I think it was Pimp My GameCube at the time.
Oh, and you know what? And when I was talking about the fact that it's really good for multiplayer, one of the best multiplayer games that you can play on it, hands down, Mario Kart Double Dash. Double Dash.
One of the best Mario Kart games, period.
Yes,
Thank you.
agreed.
Like, Double Dash is just a fantastic game, and if you need further proof of how badass it is, find the Mario Kart arcade unit, which is pretty much based around Double Dash. That's fantastic. The GameCube version is fantastic. It just a lot of really good stuff with that. And we were mentioning F-Zero and everything. Again, another really kick-ass racing.
Oh, and don't discount, man. The multiplats are not bad on GameCube. I remember the Splinter Cell ports on GameCube are, I would say, they're just about on the same level as the Xbox version. If they had online functionality, I'd put them right next to them. But graphically, the shadows are deep, the graphics are nice and crisp because the GameCube was a beast, just like the Xbox.
Yep.
If you have a choice between PS2, Xbox, and GameCube, definitely go with either the GameCube or the Xbox on those games. Multiplats were just great on that system.
Yeah,
And
Time
you know
Splitters
what
was
else was
fantastic
nice
on
was-
there.
The Need for Speed series was amazing on that platform.
Dude,
Oh,
they
yeah.
had some killer ports too.
I'm actually advocating Electronic Arts.
I know, that's
understand?
unusual.
And
Yeah, that's
that's
actually
a powerful statement coming from from this side of from this side of the podcast. But yeah, Need for Speed, great on the GameCube, absolutely.
If you guys ever saw some of the ports that Sega did, just from the Dreamcast, they had Sonic Adventure DX. They also had, and I still say this is one of the best games that you can have for it, especially as an RPG fan, Skies of Arcadia Legends, which is one of the best Dreamcast games ever, one of the best Sega games ever, in my opinion. But on GameCube, that's my favorite version of it. It looks better. It has more story. That's two very good things. So that kicks a ton of ass. But they had that. They also had the Sonic Gems collection and the Sonic Mega collection. So
Yeah.
if you were looking for a bunch of Sonic games, then pretty much there you go. And that was around the time where people were still like shitting their pants at the idea of seeing Sonic on a console with a Nintendo logo.
Yeah.
So this was still fresh in our heads. We were just like, holy mother of Christ, I cannot believe I'm playing this. Wow.
And the first Sonic.
Isn't there a law against this?
Yeah, like they're supposed to be, but
Yeah, the first Sonic game on the PlayStation on the GameCube was actually Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which was actually not a bad port of the game. It wasn't as buggy.
I can't believe I fucking forgot about this. I never know how to say the game's title, but everybody will know what I mean. Ikaruga?
Ikaruga.
Ikaruga? Okay.
One of the most interesting shoot 'em ups I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And the thing is, like, we live in a day and time now where we all have large televisions that are flat panel and everything. Well, back then, that was still relatively new. Well, you can turn the screen on its side vertically and play the game. So if you don't mind actually, like, if you have a wall-mounted TV and you played it this way, it would just, wow. I'm pretty sure I preed in my pants thinking about it on like a 60-inch TV. Like, I'm gonna have to go and fucking spackle my shorts at the moment. But it's a very, very good game to begin with, but on something that grand in size, very fucking cool. I like niche games like that. I'm a very big fan of shoot 'em ups, and that's one of the best. Like, do not ever have somebody tell you that it is not in league with one of the best, because they do not know their ass from a hole in the ground, and their taste is officially fucking void. But it is a fantastic game, and that it gets another thumbs up for me.
That's a great rule. If you want to make a friend and they don't like Ikaruga, fucking kill them. They don't deserve to be your friend.
Well, there is one thing I can say about the GameCube though. The game library itself is just there's not much shit in there at all.
There's a little,
Yeah.
but not really. I mean, it's
Not
all
too much
knockout stuff.
shovelware.
It's
No,
got a
hardly
small
any there
at all.
library, like a surprisingly
And hey,
small
if you have a
library.
choice and you're a Zelda fan and you like Twilight Princess, go with that GameCube version.
Yes.
It's definitely better than the Wii version. I speak from experience.
Yeah, that's if you can afford it, because it's like what, £80 in this country.
Yeah, God, used at GameStop, it's still like $50.
Yeah.
What the
And
fuck?
that's if you can
And that's
actually
with
find a
spoons on
used GameCube game at GameStop anymore.
Yeah. It could be caked with semen, and they'd still charge at least $40.
It probably is.
I was gonna say, technically, at GameStop, if it's caked with semen, they are still selling it as new. So
Yeah.
but
I don't think sell anything until it's actually caked with semen.
Oh, you know what? We kept on talking about how the GameCube is like the definitive home for Legend of Zelda fans, but there's one thing that we failed to recognize, and that's up until that point, it was home to every single Resident Evil game at the time.
Yes, it was.
It
Resident
had
Evil 1,
Resident
2,
Evil,
3, 4, Code Veronica, and 0.
It had it had everything. And the thing is, what a lot of people don't realize is Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3, which at the time when I was younger, I didn't really realize this, but visually the game's resolution looks a fuck ton nicer on GameCube. And the only thing that you have to kind of contend with is you have to deal with the fact that you have that garbage fucking D-pad. Unless you're savvy enough to be able to use the analog stick. I don't even know if it supports analog stick because I've never tried. So I just can't. I can't bring myself to do it. But the old tank controls, no.
Sir. But anyways, I think we pretty much killed that topic. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
We ruled that. The GameCube rules, guys. That is the moral of the story. The GameCube fucking rules. I picked that. Actually, I never told my story. Hold on. It's not a long story, I promise. But I got to the GameCube late. I didn't buy it during its original life cycle. I waited until GameStop was selling the sumbitches for $40. And I was like, wow, it's that cheap. I get a warranty with it, whatever. It's okay. Let's rock this shit. And never looked back. I think that some GameStops still do sell them for like $40 or $60. And I can't tell you how good of a buy it is for that low a price. If the GameStop near your house happens to do so, definitely pick one up. So
no doubt, it is a very cheap system to get, and I mean, not all the games on it are cheap, but it's a system worth having. And if you can't fucking manage to nab up a GameCube, just get like a first-gen Nintendo Wii. There you go.
Wait. Before we get too far, there's going to be some naysayers saying, well, yeah, you could easily be replaced with a Nintendo Wii. Do it. Get a GameCube with a GameCube controller. You'll thank yourself. It's just an entirely different vibe. It just feels so different. You know, I don't know, maybe it's just my imagination, but the games do look slightly different on the Wii. They're just, that emulation is slightly different. Before we go, I've been thinking this whole time, waiting, and I got to ask RazorFist. RazorFist, you would be an aficionado on the topic. Are there any good wrestling games on the GameCube?
Yes, actually, is it WWE or WWF?
WWE.
Day of Reckoning is supposed to be really good. And the Showdown Legends of Wrestling games are actually pretty good on GameCube. I think they released them on GameCube.
They're much better on than they are on PS2. The PS2 versions stink.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I would definitely pick those up. I've heard they're pretty fucking good.
There's one you should add to that. I don't know if you played it, but the Ultimate Muscle game. Dude, that game is fucking awesome, and every time people looked at it, they kept making fun of it, and then if you got your hands on it, it fucking rocks.
Like, Ultimate Muscle, man. I haven't heard Ultimate Muscle since like 2003. That is such a early to mid 2000s like thing.
He got a chub.
Yes. All right.
So,
well, yeah, I think we blew our wad on that.
It did. That thus ends another Hate-Bit Retrospective. We thank you for joining us. You guys are so good to us. You come and listen every single week, and we appreciate it. We love you guys.
I don't.
Anyway, you don't? You've got no love coming from Britain. Anyway, I've been Yellkaos. Joining me, as always, the labia lacerator Alpha Omega Sin.
I don't know. Oh, I never say this during the podcast. Nerds, nerdettes, and gamers, game the fuck on. Look at me using my catchphrase. Ugh.
Hey.
Shameless
Mr.
plug.
Muffins Magnus.
I've been Sainty Magnus. Thank you very much for listening. And we shall fuck you up next week.
And RazorFist.
Remember, folks, it's a dick, not a dowsing rod. God fucking speed.
And we thank you for joining our show. We hope you enjoyed it. You guys have been great. Remember, the revolution begins with you. We've been the Hate-Bit Podcast. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
You can start.
I can't believe you didn't say it's the final countdown right there. I can't believe.
We're leaving together. Ah! All right. We're heading for penis. Tell me you were recording that.
Yes.
Okay. Gotta get the laughs out. Okay.
Yeah, we got to keep that one. That's a keeper. My cat
All
just
right.
came for him, and he agrees because he was like, "What's all the fuss about?" Oh, yeah, that was a good one, folks.
What's all the hubbub, bub?
All right. Let me know when you're ready.
We are ready. It's been recording for
Okay.
the past 2 minutes.
No, that's true. Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Go.
The Hate-Bit Pod. Oh shit! Wait. Okay, ready? You started. You're talking. It's gonna have an English guy in there. All right. 3, 2, 1.